Alright, gay boys, gay girls, gay NBs. Let me put some music on in the background and let me show you the big news, okay? The big Poland happening today. I don't know if you know. Hey people, how you doing, gay boy? I don't know if you know or if you don't know. But today is the only day like today in history. John Paul II, the only Polish Pope, died on 2nd of April 2005, which as of today, because it's the 10th of July, that is 21 years, 3 months and 7 days ago. 21:37. the sacred Polish numbers, the only day like that. And it is a day to celebrate. It is a day to be happy. It's not quite as cool as if one of the big dictators kicked the bucket, but it is still worthy of celebrations.
No, this 44-month steak is the big news.
Oh no, it read streaker steak. Oh no, it's because you typed streaker steak. Oh no, she was trying to do a cool look at me, being loyal for 44 months, and she typed in steak. Oh, she eating rancid old steak, chat. 44 months. Fucking rough out there in the Swedishian fucking northern plains. But yeah, 44 months actually is big. We've realized last night, Lua, that last night, I think, marks 4 years since I became affiliate, so you could only be subscribed for 48 months. So 44 out of 48 is pretty fucking big. Pretty big. We need to wait 1 hour and 16 minutes. 2137, the sacred Polish numbers. Oh, what a day. What a day. Do you know what? I don't have much shit chattery planned for the beginning of today's stream. I'm actually having a half decent day. I'm sort of conked out after work, but in like a way where I'm not even tired anymore. It's like I'm silly. You know what I mean? Like I'm very much in the mood for like Instagram cat memes type shit. So I'm thinking we might as well jump straight into Mizkif's 45-minute and 38-second video entitled Emiru Lied, Part 1.
Okay, I have the court filings with me, and today I would like to go over them. I'm Matthew Renato, the streamer known online as Mizkif. In the court filings, my name is also spelled Mizrandino. This is about Emily Shunk, the streamer online known as Emiru, who I was in a relationship with for about 3 years. For 3 years, she was the first person I saw every morning and the last person I saw every night. She was a person who wanted to marry me and have my children. Then, about 10 months later, after we broke up, in October of 2025, on a live stream to her audience of millions, she accused me of sexual assault, stalking, and abuse. I deny those accusations completely. To be clear about the setup, I am the one who went to court. I sued her for defamation, meaning for making false accusations that damaged me. A court has since ordered me to lay out, one statement at a time, exactly what she said that is false. This is me doing that, with the public court record and her own words placed next to each claim, so you can weigh it for yourself. Here's what's changed. After her October 2025 live stream, the accusation spread everywhere. And to most people...
I don't like that he's wearing a sweater, too performative. It is the... I mean, what are we expecting? He's got court filings in hand. He's wearing a sweater and a collared shirt. It's a whole thing, okay? He's doing the whole thing.
The story was already settled. I was guilty. But what changed is that in June 2026, a federal judge reviewed her request to throw my entire case out and recommended the opposite, that it moves forward.
Considering the gist of Shunk's statement, which includes allegations of sexual assault, the court finds that it was reasonably capable of a defamatory meaning. The court finds that he plausibly pleads a claim for defamation against Shunk based on her allegedly untrue statements that include allegations of sexual assault.
So here's the accusations that she made on stream. These are in her words as the judge quoted them. On October 2025, near the start of her live stream, by the magistrate judge on the account of the
Asmongold has Lua, if that counts.
Transcript, she said she was, and quote...
Actually, no, I don't think... Asmongold said that he can't wait for his court proceedings to be over so that he can leak everything about Mizkif and it's gonna be big. But I'll be honest with you, I don't believe anyone who says that anymore because I'm still holding out hope. You remember like it might have even been like closer to 3 years ago. No, it would have been 2 years ago. Destiny said that if he goes down, he's taking like 20 streamers down with him because he's aware of all of these people who have done some rapey shit. And then it never happened. He never did the thing. He promised the thing. He never did the thing. did I hallucinate this, or did it recently come out that either Emiru said the N-word or she was fine with Asmund saying it in private? I don't know, I heard through the grapevine. It's in this video, actually. At some point in this video, Mizkif shows us DMs where Asmongold's saying that what he uses as a password is a variation of the N-word with like random letters and numbers in there. And then Emiru's like, hee hee, that's so quirky, screenshotted, ooh ooh. But I'll be honest with you, I don't give a fuck about that at all. Bro, if I went through my DMs, actually, no, I was going to say if I went through my DMs with my friends, you'd see some nasty shit, but that was like when we were 16. I suppose it is a bit different when, like, you know, it's in 2024 and you're a roach fuck pushing 30. I was gonna downplay the fuck out of it, but then I realized, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. So yeah, essentially that's just what it is. And now people are saying that Emiru is racist and that Asmongold is racist, which to be fair, we already knew that for Asmongold. The whole Emiru thing is weird. Because people keep acting like she's this innocent fucking rabbit just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she's complicit in a lot of this shit, bro. She used to do a podcast with Tectone, bro. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I bet your DMs with Cooper and Nasty. Not like career-ruining Nasty, though. It's alright.
Finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. Under Texas law, as a magistrate judge in my case wrote, accusing someone of a crime or of engaging in serious sexual misconduct is defamation per se. In plain terms, defamation per se means that falsely accusing someone of a crime is treated by the law as damaging on its face. So the harm does not have to be proven separately. Those are accusations of crimes. I deny every one of them. And the judge did not leave that standard in the abstract, applying it to her sexual assault accusation in the same opinion. She found that accusation reasonably capable of a defamatory meaning and allowed my defamation claim to move forward. If you want to find any of these readings, I'll be putting a link below where you can read everything. For the first time I spoke until now, my account has not changed. The same denial, the same story, the same detail. I have never had to take anything back because I have never lied. She has, repeatedly, through this entire process. And I'm going to walk you through the lies in her own filings and her words. The same filing has her calling one live stream spontaneous, unedited, and unscripted in one document, and describing a lawyer's review and prepared notes in another. It has her swearing in a footnote that we did not get back together. While 2 months of her messages say that we did. It was her announcing—
If it's court documents, Lua, they're going to be archived just fine. Plus, I mean, it's the Mizkif thing. I was going to say Mizkif's got a good history of court documents because he was the one who sent the fucking... he's the one who sent the fucking Chronicle boys to Tectone's court case, right? Because all of the leaks about Tectone's court case we got from Mizkif.
A restraining order in 2 states that she never filed. Those are not differences of memory, they are lies. And the records are right here. The first thing that people told about me were that he admitted to everything. I never did. And I never moved off my own story. The first thing most people heard about was not that the accusations itself, it was that I had gone on my own stream and admitted to all of it. This is false. I deny these claims from the beginning, and I've said that in the same thing every day since. Almost no one listened to my side. Before I went live, Emiru went live first. She told the world that I sexually assaulted her, abused her, and stalked her, before I had a single word in my defense. I deny those accusations completely. The word that came next, rapist, came from everyone.
Okay, let's see, who do we have here? Ian Miles Chong, let's go. I'm looking for names I recognize. That's the only one. No, Hancock. I recognize Hancock as well. Wow, Ice Poseidon's cameraman is a disgusting weird rapist. This is shocking news. And Ian Miles Chong saying, what's the deal with popular video game live streamers always raping women? Per capita, live streamers being rapists has got to be higher than Afghan asylum seekers in the UK. Classic Ian Miles Chong. Is Ian Miles Chong even still around? I am not seeing his tweets anymore. Did he like fall out with Elon Musk? It's true he was fucked before he even responded when Asman was backing it. If I remember correctly, I'd have to re-watch his response. But from what he's saying, he did come onto her in a way that like would constitute sexual abuse. I just don't remember. I'm pretty sure that like the story was the same, right?
Who heard her and ran with it. The verdict was in before I even said a single word. And when I did go live, I told my side and I have stuck with it word for word to today.
Jesus, I remember watching his side. God, it was the phone throwing thing. Oh God, the memories are flooding back. Oh no.
She has done exactly one live stream. And across that single stream, her story does not hold together. It has contradictions that are laid out in the sections that follow in her own filings
not
and her own words. One account has never changed. The other keeps changing. So why does the false version that I admitted to everything still win? That's because almost no one watched either stream in full. People pulled small clips from my about 30-minute response, cut away the context, and wrapped their own narrative around it for views and for clips. And the reach was never close to her. So in Emiru's filing, her motion calls it spontaneous. Her own transcript has her describing a lawyer's review and prepared notes. In her motion to dismiss, her attorney describes the stream this way in regards to the sexual assault. The live stream was spontaneous, unedited, and unscripted, speaking openly and vulnerably in the moment. In her declaration, she states the filed transcript of the live stream is accurate.
Oh, actually, shit. We might have to, actually, hold on. I'll do the game later. We might want to watch this full screen so I can actually see the exhibits that he's bringing up, because I don't trust him enough to just go off of what he's saying. Hey, Polish Decay, not too bad. How about yourself, my friend?
A true and correct copy. And she says at 18 minutes and 5 seconds into that stream, I have been in contact with my lawyer. I had them review everything that I'm planning to say today. And across that same broadcast, she keeps refuting to how prepared she was. It was not just on a whim, she says. I took a lot of notes. I just ended up reading off my own notes. So my attorney puts it in court directly. Shunk should not be heard now to argue that her defamatory comments were some off-the-cuff, spontaneous, emotional response, when she specifically stated that not only were her comments thoroughly planned out and scripted, that they were in fact reviewed by counsel in advance to the live stream. So her brief on the stream was spontaneous and unscripted. Her own filed transcript has her saying a lawyer reviewed, and it read,
I think it's possible for those two to still be like both true, but it's going to be rough as fuck. I'll be honest, everything I've seen, now granted he's showing us selective documents here, but the ones that I've seen and the ones that I've been making rounds on Twitter, all of them make Emiru look pretty bad.
From notes. Both are
I'll try
words.
to, Lua, but currently he's mostly just he's just showing us inconsistencies, right? So far, it's possible for you to have like spoken with counsel about whether you're allowed to talk about this broader thing and then still talk about it unscripted. Bit of a rougher one if she's made notes that she's reading off of, because then you can't really claim unscripted quite as much anymore. You still could if it's like bullet points and shit, but it's just all of this is like you're ramping the fuck, you know when you're on the treadmill and you can keep increasing the height of the front so that it gets like harder and harder and harder. That's what it feels like Emiru has been doing with a lot of this, particularly with the one that we will see later, the one that I've showed in my Discord. You know which one, the one where she said you know which one, the one where like it's she's not claiming any actual truth. She's claiming her emotional truth or something like that. It's just, that's just a rough thing to say in court.
In case, they describe the same 90 minutes two different ways. The sexual assault allegations, she called it sexual assault. Here's what she said happened and what I did. She told her audience and later the court that what happened between us on one night was sexual assault, a crime.
Huh? What's the jump there? That's a bit shitty, innit? What happened?
The same 90, both are her words. In the same case, they describe the same 90 minutes two different ways. The sexual assault allegations, she called it sexual assault. Here's what she said happened and what I did. She told her...
There's a cut here. There was supposed to have been a clip. Did you not find a clip of her saying that? I'm gonna chalk that one up to didn't happen then. If there's a specific bit for it and he's not showing us a clip, I need to see the clip. I don't fucking remember what she said.
Audience, and later the court, that what happened between us on one night was sexual assault, a crime. She named it on the live stream, where she made her own other accusations. Then she went over what she says happens that night. These are her own words, as quoted in my complaint. He started kissing my face and I let him do it. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hands down my pants. And I screamed. And when I screamed, he jumped off of me like a cat. Here's what I have to say about that, plainly. I did what any man should do in the situation. She made it clear that she didn't want it, and I stopped. I respected her not consenting. I did the right thing in that situation. And look closely at her own account, because on the thing that matters the most, it agrees with me. The moment she reacted, I stopped. When I screamed, he jumped off of me, like a cat. As her words, not mine. I did not push past her. I did not ignore her. The instant I understood that she was not okay, I stopped. I did not sexually assault her and deny it completely. Here's word for word from the transcript filed. In this case, is what I exactly said on that stream. This was never a confession, and it was denial. And I wrote, I knew the relationship wasn't healthy at this point. I knew we had to end it soon. Emmy posted a very provocative picture, one that she knew I would hate, and she posted it to make me upset. She admitted she made me upset with it, and we got into a heated argument after I broke up with her. We broke up for about a month. Then we got back.
Does anyone even know what picture he's talking about? Fuck, I feel like we've gone over a lot of the details when it was happening, but it's just not at the forefront of my mind. I don't remember the exact details. I know there was something about a picture, but do we know what picture it was? I'm assuming if he says very provocative, then it's going to be like Goonabait, but Emiru does a lot of like cosplays that are kind of like that, which I don't blame her, right? That's the game that we play. Hey, Beans, how you doing? I can't remember what it is that it is supposed to be.
Back together because we thought we could make it work. We went to get food at BJ's, a common place where we would get food. And then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and we started to kiss. She said that she was okay with it on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. So why does this false version that I admitted to everything still win? I would also like to make it very clear that up until that moment, Emiru and I had been dating for over 3 years. We did break up for about a couple weeks, but we immediately got back together. And through the past last year of our relationship, we were constantly breaking up with each other, and then we would repeatedly have sex and get back together. So this is just one of those moments. To date,
I have never in my life heard of a relationship where the people are breaking up and getting back together and breaking up and getting back together, and where the relationship actually survives. It's one of those where, like, at that point, it's just a done deal. Just move on with your life.
there is no evidence of a police report or any other legal action over the incident she alleges happened around October 2024, despite her public statements in October 2025, where she said to her audience that she was seeking a restraining order.
I am already in the process of filing a restraining order on him in both Texas and California.
20 months have now passed since the alleged incident without a single criminal complaint, restraining order, or investigation appearing in any record in California or Texas. The only active case arising from any of this is my defamation lawsuit that I brought against her. The total absence of any official action over a year and a half stands in stark contrast to the severity of what she accused me of. When she finally did raise it, a full year after the date, she points to, it was not to the police. It was an audience of millions on a live stream. This is the reason she gave for going live. I felt like it was a necessary stream because I have heard that he has done things to other people that align with some of my own experiences, so I felt like it would be wrong for me to keep holding on to all this information. And here is what does not fit an assault. We kept dating for months afterward. Her own messages, laid out in the next two sections, show her coming over, cooking me dinner.
Well, no, that's the one and the other doesn't... I understand what he's saying, right? Because it's going to be like court of public opinion, and he's going to do the whole, like, if it was sexual assault, how could we have continued on with the relationship? There's so much fucking murkiness that surrounds these kinds of dynamics, especially if he's already established that was not a healthy relationship at all, that this argument goes straight out the window. You can't simultaneously appeal to my judgment of what a relationship is supposed to be like, where if you sexually assault your partner, then the relationship's over, and he must not have done that if the relationship continued, whilst you're also telling me that you were constantly breaking up with one another and the relationship was all kind of problematic. It's one or the other. You can't have both of these. Can't believe they use Discord as the main form of communication. I think these are, I don't know what this is. iMessages? What the fuck is iMessage? Is it like some discount iPhone shit? Or is it just a regular iPhone message? Is it like WhatsApp?
Asking to sleep together, calling me babe.
I mean, Beans has a Discord with her husband. Yeah, but Beans is also, I was going to say Beans is also massively racist, but apparently so is Emiru, so maybe that point should be disregarded moving forward.
Messaging me, Merry Christmas, babe, when it ended in January 2025. I was the one who walked away, and she is the one who did not want to split up. Her lawyers swore in a footnote that we did not get back together after the assault. Her own messages in the section below say otherwise. That is a lie, and in the record proves it. In court, she changed what the accusations even were. In public, Emiru called the accusations sexual assault, the crime. But once I sued her, her lawyers argued that her own words were never factually a claim at all. Only her protected emotional truth.
To what kind of people is Emiru racist? I mean, we don't have anything concrete. People are memeing about the fact that Asmongold told her that he uses a version of the N-word as his password, and he typed it out in Discord DMs, and she was just like, he, and that's it. That's the racist part, really. Which, given that it's Asmongold, and she does a podcast with Tectone, it's a lot more tame than I would have expected. I don't know if she actually said sexual assault. Do you know what? That video should still be up, right? Let me just... Emiru Mizkif statement. The last 3 years of my life, trigger warning, Mizkif. Okay, so that video is in fact up. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit show transcript, and we are going to search for the exact word, sexual assault.
Abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing.
Yeah. So she did, pretty much straight up. How's the heat wave in Poland? It's actually not bad today. It's been bad last week. This week is quite chill.
She said, and I quote, "Her story is admirable, and in telling it, she is stating her emotional truth, not some statement of decisive fact." My attorneys answered that with one line. Emotional truth is not a recognized defense to...
Yeah, this is the bad one. This is what I was saying in Discord earlier, that this isn't even something that you can't argue in court. It's just if it's a matter of defamation, it's a rough one. Because she has to play it so that she doesn't lose the public, but so that she also can't get sued for defamation. And saying Shunk is expressing her heartfelt emotional journey over several years with an admittedly toxic man. Her story is admirable, and in telling it, she is stating her emotional truth, not some statement of decisive fact. It's just that doesn't look good. Not some statement of decisive fact. My attorneys answered that with one line. Emotional truth is not a recognized defense to defamation in Texas. And this is not just my side spin on her defense. The magistrate judge, restating Shunk's own motion in her own words, described it in exactly those terms. She also argues that her statement, considered in its entirety, was an opinion or her protected emotional truth. The judge did not buy it on the part that matters the most. Vague feelings about a relationship can be protected opinion. But falsely accusing someone of sexual assault, the judge held, is different because those words can only mean one thing:
that I committed a crime. She found exactly that about Shunk's accusation. Considering the gist of Shunk's statement, which included allegations of sexual assault, the court finds that it was reasonably capable of a defamatory meaning. He plausibly pleads a claim for defamation against Shunk based on her allegedly untrue statement that includes allegations of sexual assault. So here's where it stands. She told millions of people I sexually assaulted her. She has never produced a police report. We dated for months after that, the night that she points to. And when I took her to court, her own lawyers argued those words were not a factual accusation, but her feelings.
I'm to ESL for this. Essentially, he's suing her for defamation. You know what defamation is. And the angle for that specific argument is that if she was to say that what he did is sexual assault, then that is a statement of fact. And if that is not what he did, then she is defaming him by saying that that is what he did. And what her lawyers are trying to argue is that this shouldn't be taken as a definitive fact, but more as an emotional truth, where she was retelling years of abuse, and she shouldn't be basically caught by that specific language and held responsible for it, when the broader picture is that she wasn't being factually correct, but rather expressing her emotional side of the argument. And it's just, I don't imagine that will fly.
Her emotional truth. The federal magistrate judge recommended that my defamation claim goes forward on exactly that statement, and in her exact words, found it reasonably capable of a defamatory meaning. Her filings say we never got back.
Yeah, the court's saying it's reasonably capable of defamatory meaning. All this means, in like a very, very explain it like I'm five type way, is that an average listener would take it as a statement of fact and not as an emotional truth. And this is further bolstered by him, his lawyers, I should say, earlier pointing out how Emiru herself said that she ran this by her counsel and she has notes that she's reading from. So he's saying that you can't argue that this is a traumatic retelling of a years-long abuse where you shouldn't be held responsible for the particularities of the language that you use, when you're simultaneously saying you're using legal terms to describe what happened to you. You're saying you ran this by counsel, and you're saying you're reading from notes. And as far as that argument goes, Mizkif's lawyers are correct. It's that's why I was saying earlier that it feels to me like I am not an expert in American law, particularly in defamation. Right? Why the fuck would I be? Which is why when I see what lawyers are doing, and I think to myself, holy fuck, this lawyer is not. Why are you doing this, chief? I'm obviously, my first thought immediately thereafter is there's no way that I'm correct, because that is a lawyer, guy, person, man, woman thing. And that person has not only got like similar or higher level of education than me, but they've also passed the bar. So they can't be doing dumb shit. But I read things like what Emiru's lawyers are arguing. I read things like what Pixie's lawyers are arguing. And I think to myself, well, fuck me, these people might just be retarded. But they can't be, because how the fuck would they get in the position that they're at if they were, you know what I mean? But it's just fucking yikes. I just think it's weird that abuse victim would just casually partner with Rapeton. I'm not clear on the timeline here, because I don't think their podcast still exists, right? That Emiru Asmongold Tectone podcast is gone now, isn't it? Or is it not? I thought it was. So the timeline of this would be that she's no longer affiliated with these people, but also Emiru is like a part of the machine, you know what I mean? Like, she's not an innocent bystander. I'm a designated radio person on a car trip, so it's a mute stream for me tonight. Why not just put me on the radio? That's somebody at Aminax and be like, yo, just put the KrysSpeaks stream on. Who needs radio?
Together, the messages from those months say otherwise. In her brief reply, her lawyer stated in a footnote, for clarity, Shunk and Mizrandino did not get back together after the assault. Sadly, this is a common tactic by abusers to try to justify their behavior towards victims. But on her own live stream, she described that same breakup as nothing more than a short period. A short period is a brief break, and then we got back together. So let me be exact about the timeline, because this is where people have gotten confused. According to Emiru and her lawyers, we broke up in October 2024, and they told the court that we never got back together. Every message below is after that. On November 18th, I told Emiru that she can come over, and she said, "Is it okay if my alarms go off at 10, LOL?" I said, sure. On December 16th, I ask if she wants to come over. She tries to call my phone. On December 18th, she makes me salmon for dinner. When I tell her my uncle died, she asks if I want to come over, and she does. On December 21st, she asks to come shower at my place. Can I still come over tonight? Because she wanted to sleep with me. You know how you said my shower was cold? Obviously, I was at her place. My hot water completely is out now. I want to shower at your place. I'll just get up early again. I said yes. On December 25th, Christmas, she said hi, and then Merry Christmas, babe. This does sound like a couple that is broken up. On December 30th, 2024, we sleep together. Me, okay, I'm going to bed. Emiru said, okay. I then said, I'm just getting ready. Emiru said, do you want to sleep together? I then said, yeah. Keep in mind that a lot of the calls that we would have with each other are not shown because we called each other every single day as we slept with each other every single night. January the 15th.
Yeah, that's going to be rough in court then. Even if you wanted to argue it's like a situationship type deal, it's that statement from the lawyers is going to be thrown the fuck out immediately. Oh, this is not looking good for Emiru. This is not looking good for Emiru. Shit. Was the salmon needed in this timeline? I feel like... Now, don't tell Johnson, okay? Because if Johnson finds out, it's going to be a rough ordeal for me. But if you make me salmon for dinner, we are in a relationship together. That's just where I'm at.
The 18th, I call her babe in a text. Her filing said that we did not get back together after the October 2024 breakup, as she describes. These are her own messages from November, December, and January. All after that date, the filing and the messages describe two different relationships. Our next point, she also says that she ended the relationship. But here's what actually happened the morning I walked out. We were together, on and off, for 3 years. A relationship we kept hidden from almost everyone around us. But near the end, we broke up, we got back together, more times than I can count. I wanted space, and she wanted to move closer. I told her I wanted her to move out, and that I wanted space, and it was a line that never healed. The week of our official breakup in January, we had agreed to finally sit down and each say what we wanted for the future. We slept at her house. On the morning of January 23rd, 2025, she handed me a note, and in it, she wrote that she wanted to marry me, that she wanted to build a life and move into an apartment right next to me, because she knew how much I needed my space. And I looked at it. I looked at her.
That is also sussy. I will say the notion that you can't live in the same apartment because you need your space is like that's either mentally very far removed from where I'm at, so I can't relate, and it's like economically very far removed from where I'm at, so I can't relate. Just the idea itself that if you need your space, you can't just go to a different room. You need like an entire house. It's just like that's strange. Like that is very weird.
Who dares summon me?
Hey Johnson, hey. I was just telling chat that if somebody makes me salmon for dinner, I'm assuming we're in a relationship. Hi Ray, no worries. Last night was a short stream anyway. How are you doing, love? Yeah, no, I can't relate to that. I can't relate to the idea that I need to have my own apartment. Not like my own room, not my own space in the room, but my own apartment. That's like I've been brought up in a way where if you had your own room, that was a luxury. I was sharing my room with my brother for the longest time. And when I finally had like my own room, it was a room in the house. And even then, my privacy was only insofar as if my mum was angry at something and she wanted to storm in the room, fucking kicking the door in. That's what she was doing. And nothing that I could do would stop that from happening. Did Tectone weigh his opinion on this? Do you know, he probably did, but he doesn't come across my feed. I only get secondhand information about Tectone because he has me blocked. After I made that 2,000 views video calling him Rapeton, he watched it and then blocked me on Twitter shortly thereafter. He probably weighed in, right? Bro is a proper fucking creep. There is no chance that he didn't weigh in on this. God, he's such an awkward dude. Hold on, let's do a keyword search. Emiru. Oh no, 5th of November 2025 is the last one. No, he is. Bro is staying, I think, possibly away from this.
And I handed it back to her. I told her, I can't do this anymore, and I'm sorry. And the last thing I heard as I was closing her front door, and she said, don't go. This is who ended it. So in my complaint, I said, he called off the relationship in January 2025. So to be exact, the exact date that our relationship ended was on January 23rd, 2025. I left Austin in early February, first for Japan, and the move to Los Angeles came afterwards. After 2 trips overseas, the day by day in the timeline is going to be shown. These messages are showing with me and at one point my best friend, Extra Emily. So Extra Emily knew that I wanted to break up with Emiru for a long time.
Oh,
and
shit.
These messages...
If Extra Emily comes in, I am not going to be charitable. Ooh, I have a bone to pick with Extra Emily, and it is not good right now, okay? I don't have good things to say about that woman.
Are on the exact date that I broke up with Emiru on January 23rd, 2025. I messaged her and I said, bitch, I did it. I ended it. Emily said...
TLDR on Extra Emily. She drives like a fucking retard. Keeps almost getting into an accident, and she's eventually gonna fucking kill somebody because she insists on reading her chat whilst driving. Like the sheer amount... Take care, Johnson. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. The sheer amount of clips you can find of her being an absolute fucking lunatic behind the wheel is incredible. There was one just the other day where she was changing lanes and she only looked in the mirror after she started the changing the lanes maneuver, so she almost drove into somebody in an SUV. There was one from a little while ago where she blasts through fucking red light going... more than she should have been going in there because she's not looking at the lights and she's reading something in chat. I don't like her. I do not like her. I take issue with her big time.
Shut up. No way. I'm free to call whenever. I said, are you streaming? And she said, not until Saturday. And then I messaged her and I said, okay, I'll call in 5. The conversation didn't end there. 2 days later, on January 25th, it was Emiru reaching out to talk things over with Extra Emily. And Extra Emily had already heard from me that it was over. So this is January 25th, 2025. Extra Emily says, okay. And then she says, she texted me to talk. I'm pretending like you didn't tell me the news. Okay, I'm talking to her on the phone soon. I then said, are you streaming tomorrow? And she said, no. So if this doesn't prove that Emiru is lying, that who broke up with who, I don't know what does. So now we're gonna move on to the stalking allegations and where I actually was. On February 2nd, 2025, about 10 days after we broke up, I flew to Japan. The reason why I flew to Japan is that I knew if I stayed in Austin, that we were just gonna get back together and get in the same loop that we had been in for almost a year. On February 21st, 2025, I came back to Austin and stayed about 3 weeks. This is when my friend Simply had a party, which is the one that she ties to stalking, was on February 23rd, 2 days after I landed, about a month after we broke up. On March 16th, 2025, I flew back to Japan and stayed there for nearly 2 months. On May 12th, 2025, I returned to Austin for about 2.5 weeks. And in May 29th, 2025, I moved to Los Angeles. Stalking means being near someone and contacting them when they don't want it. For most of the year after we ended it, I was on another continent and then in another state. I put distance between us deliberately, more than once. And on my own stream, here is what I exactly said about it. That week, I made flights to Japan because I didn't want to sit around and wait possibly to get back together again. I have never talked to her in person since. I have been removed from OTK Discords. I did see her at a party.
I have not talked to her in person since. I have messaged her numerous times wondering why I've been removed from OTK Discords, and I was very scared because I didn't know what was going on. Okay, so he's not reading the second part of it out, but that if I remember bits and bobs about her saying that he was texting her relentlessly, right? That seems to be corroborated here. Didn't we already know a lot of this? I mean, currently he's trying to claim that that no stalking happened, right? Because part of her thing was that he's stalking her specifically.
I've never talked to her in person since. I have been removed from OTK Discords. I did see her at a party once at Simply's house, one of my close friends. The house was very small and I opened the door. I said, whoops, I want to make it very clear I was not following her. It just happened that I was with someone she knew the entire night. The house is about 2,000 square feet with about 50 people. I, of course, was near her, but I was never following her. The specific incident she calls stalking is a party. Here is how she described it on her own stream.
Did she say stalking? Oh, hold on. What the fuck? I didn't mean to hit download. Cancel. Remove from downloads. Delete. Jesus, I'm not downloading a fucking 45-minute Mizkif video. I have her video open here, but I think he's about to play us a clip for a change. Maybe.
From the certified transcript she filed herself. I made the mistake of thinking that I only had to cut him off through personal private communication, but I also had to start avoiding going to the same parties or places I was worried he'd be. There was a party that I attended. I was aware that he would be there, and I thought it wouldn't be a big deal. We're adults, right? During this party, I felt like he was following me around and monitoring me, but I thought that that was just being paranoid. About 30 minutes later, the room that we're in, the door opens, it's Miz. He opens the door, makes eye contact with me, goes ooh, and closes the door and leaves. That is the entirety of her stalking allegations. Read in her own words.
Well, no, it was she paired it together with the text messages, right? The idea that he's messaging her relentlessly, she's not responding, and then he suddenly shows up in a place that she's at. Which I don't get this. Hold on. Where are we at? 21:33. Let me take a note of that real quick. Because I think this doesn't make sense to me. Again, it's the second part of it. I'm inclined to believe a decent chunk of what he's saying, because it looks like Emiru's arguments are shit, but this is another one that makes no sense.
Are you streaming the broke up with who? Was on February 2nd, 2025, about 10 days after we broke up. I flew to Japan. The reason why I flew to Japan is that I knew if I stayed in Austin that we were just going to get back together and get in the same loop that we had been in for almost a year. On February 21st, 2025, I came back to Austin and stayed about 3 weeks. This is when my friend Simply had a party, which is the
Yeah, so somebody walk me through this. I was correct. See, I'm picking things up. We're getting in there. We're getting in there. It's taken me a hot fucking minute to get in the fighting shape, but we are getting there. He needs to not only have his own apartment for his own space, but when they break up, he needs to fuck off to Japan for 3 weeks. And when he comes back from Japan, he goes to a party he knows Emiru is at, and he's saying he thinks it's going to be okay because they're both adults. But he needed to fuck off to a different continent because he like that was the thing needed to do to heal. Did he heal in 3 weeks? Did he heal in 3 weeks and then come back and then go into that party is perfectly fine? I mean, maybe. I suppose I haven't really been in this environment in my life. I haven't had a breakup like this where I had to fuck off to a different continent and then after 3 weeks I was cured. But it's peculiar, no? He needs to go to a different country, repeatedly looking at the timeline here. But at the same time, he believes that they're able to go to a party together and it's all going to be Gucci.
Allegations. Read in her own words.
Thank you for that.
This is obviously not stalking. She was never cut off. She says that she cut me off through personal private communication, but she controlled the contact. She didn't block me, and on her own stream, she showed messages proving that I could still reach her. Choosing not to answer someone while never blocking them, while leaving every channel they could use to reach you wide open, and while showing no sign that you want them to stop is not the same as being stalked.
Well, no, hold on. If she's not responding to you at all, that is a sign that she's not engaging, right? That is a sign right there. As for why she didn't block him, I don't remember if she ever explained that or not. I don't know why you wouldn't. I suppose maybe that way you have an outlet so that she can, like, she doesn't have to constantly keep thinking about what it is that you're doing behind the scenes. But that argument doesn't really fly for me. It's that's a weird one.
She also knew that I was going to be there. In her own words, she was aware that I would be there and chose to attend the same party. Going somewhere you knew the other person would be at is the opposite of being followed. She also says that she felt and thought she was paranoid. She does not say I actually followed or monitored her. She said that she felt that way and twice told her audience that she thought she was just being paranoid. And lastly, I opened the door and I left. Her one concrete moment is that about 30 minutes later, I opened a door, saw that she was inside and said, ooh, and walked away. Stalkers follow you.
No, that's not how no. But let's have a look. Legal definition of stalking, Austin, Texas. For behavior to legally qualify as stalking in Austin, it must meet specific criteria. Repeated pattern. The actions must occur on more than one occasion. Reasonable fear. The conduct must cause the victim or their family, household, or dating partner to feel fear, harassment, or alarm safe from stalking. Intent or knowledge. The offender must know or reasonably should know that the targeted individual would feel threatened or fearful.
They obsess over you. They don't open a door at your friend's party and walk away.
No, actually, stalkers can absolutely. When stalkers are caught, it is not uncommon for them to pull a switcheroo and get the fuck out of there.
This is the entire
first-hand
account
how you doing, buddy?
in her own filing on the strength of it that she listed stalking among the crimes she accused me of. If I was stalking her, I would be the worst stalker on the planet. I left the country for months immediately after we broke up, flew to Japan twice, and moved across the country shortly after I returned. That is the behavior of someone pulling as much distance possible between themselves and the other person.
See, and I agree with him on this, but then why did he go to the party that he knew she was going to be at? Like, surely that's not a smart thing to do. But then again, her lawyers seem quite incompetent, so it should probably be alright for him.
Not following them. And while she was calling me a stalker in front of millions of people, she was quietly making the rounds through the community, going from person to person behind my back, spreading a version of events I had no opportunity to answer. Emiru also claims on her own stream that she filed a restraining order in 2 states. Emiru said, and I quote, I'm already in the process of filing a restraining order on him in both Texas and California. A restraining order is a public court record. It is not in her motion. It is not in her sworn declaration. It is not in her first reply. She has not produced one or any as of today, roughly 8 months later. After she announced it, there is...
So as of now, no one looks good. I mean, Mizkif is not going to look good in any of this. Mizkif is a fucking weirdo. But Emiru is certainly not looking good. Emiru's not having a good time with this.
Still no restraining order or protective order of any kind against me that has appeared in Texas or California. My own attorney has received none, and the people who follow the case closely...
Reddit seems infected with his fans. I can't speak to that because I don't spend that much time on Reddit, but what it is oftentimes on Reddit, especially on LSF, is that they just like when the rich and powerful are knocked down a peg. And Mizkif was knocked down a peg, but now he's against Asmongold and Emiru, who are also rich and powerful, so they might just want to see those two get knocked down a peg. It's just like an LSF dynamic thing.
Watching for any filings of any type, have also found none. And the timing is the whole point. In both states she named, an emergency order is built to be fast.
Because also, let's not forget the what was her name? Andrea? The woman who was sexually assaulted by Mizkif's friend, who Mizkif sent Maya Higa to talk out of making any allegations that he then allegedly like blacklisted out of parties. This is like the second time he's dealing with Adriana Lee. That's the one. Thank you, Fiddy. So it's yet another time where Mizkif is sort of dealing with allegations, if you will.
It's meant for people in real danger. In California, a judge can grant a temporary restraining order the same day you apply, with a full hearing set just 21 to 25 days later. In Texas, a judge can grant a temporary ex parte protective order the same day on a finding, a clear and present danger, with a hearing within 14 days. Someone who genuinely needs protection can have a temporary order in hours, not months. She said that she was already in the process in October 2025. 8 months later, there is nothing. She also told her audience that my lawsuit was a bluff, that I couldn't win. In nearly the same breath, she predicted that I would sue her and waved it off in advance as meaningless. She put, and I quote, "I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for the stream that I did today and for coming out about him, not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit." Interesting. So on camera, she was sure of two things. A restraining order was already on the way, and then my case was baseless. It was a PR stunt that I couldn't win. Neither of those things have held up. There's been no restraining order or protective order that has ever appeared in Texas or California. And the judge who reviewed her motion to throw my case out recommended the opposite, that it moves forward. She told her audience I could not win. The court let me proceed. So here's the part that she leaves out about the party. Simply, whose party it was is one of my closest friends. We lived together for years. And at the time, we were going through our both breakups and dealing with our own problems. When I got back from Japan, he is the one who invited me. I was not there to find her. While Simply was giving me a tour of his house, I opened the door, I saw 4 OTK members sitting there in the corner and closed it. That is the whole opening the door moment that she describes as me stalking her. I want that to sink in, that is what she described as stalking. Moment she describes a tour of my best friend's house is me stalking her. And my own text from that night prove it in real time. I messaged Extra Emily asking why everyone was upstairs, what the group in the corner was about, and what was going on. I thought that they were making another version of OTK, and I got worried. And Extra Emily just told me—
Lakari, the Lakari one was rough. What even is going on with Lakari? Is he back to streaming? Is he still like a thing, or is he just out of the picture now?
To basically not worry at all. That was it. And she somehow labeled that as stalking. In May of 2025, 5 months after we broke up, I sent her a long message by her own account on her own stream. She received it and sat with how to respond until her friends told her it had to be AI. She said, and I quote, "I had someone send me a massive apology message and I wasn't sure what to respond. I showed a couple of friends and they were like, this is literally ChatGPT."
I had someone send me a massive apology message, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to respond, so I showed a couple friends and they were like, "Emmy, this is literally ChatGPT." And I was like, "Oh, I guess I'm not responding."
You could put it back into ChatGPT and be like, "Is this?"
Yeah, no, they did, and ChatGPT said it's probably ChatGPT.
This is obviously about me because we were in a relationship the entire time that ChatGPT has existed. This was months before she even went public.
Jesus, I've just realized, yeah, fuck me. That's a rough thing to realize. I've been with my wife since before AI was a thing. You know what I mean? Oh God, I'm old. Oh, the times are changing. Oh, it's like a moment of realization. It used to, those times were so much better, bro. Those times were so much better. I've been with myself for all of ChatGPT's existence. You've been with me, Peepo. You've been with me for all of ChatGPT's existence.
With an accusation. You do not consider how to respond to the person you say sexually assaulted, abused you, and stalked you. The only thing that stopped her was that her friends decided that my words were too well written to be mine. Think about that. I would like to now talk about the abuse claim that Emiru tried to hint at on her stream. Here's the truth. In my own words, I have never hit Emiru. The one physical thing that ever happened was an accident. I had a habit of tossing my phone onto my bed, and one time it bounced off the mattress and caught her in the eye, and it left a bruise. I felt terrible about it. I apologized immediately. I stopped throwing my phone that day, and we moved past it. That is the only time I ever hurt her.
Do you know what is actually super fucking interesting, but I don't know. Maybe this is a self-report, which rough fucking segue from him saying I've never domestically abused my girlfriend to me saying, hey, maybe this is a self-report, but this is what I do. But I feel like if you've been with somebody for a long period of time, you're gonna have a handful of stories of like where you've accidentally whacked one another. You know what I mean? Like the phone story thing is just fucking strange, but I can think of like at least 3 scenarios where I was accidentally hit by my wife, or at least 2 that I can think of where I've accidentally hit her. But we're not talking like a fucking full-on swing or like a hook or anything like that. I remember. I remember when she was going for a hug and I was going for a different hug, and I've accidentally like hit her on the chin with my shoulder. And I didn't realize that, like, she fucking positioned herself weird as shit for that hug. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but I've hit her with my shoulder on the chin, and I've immediately realized that, like, that was way harder of a contact than it should have been for a hug. And so I felt really fucking bad, and I immediately started looking down, and she wanted to look up at me because she started giggling that I've accidentally hit her, and she fucking proper headbutted me in my teeth. Like, she fucking just came at me from down below to a point where my fucking teeth rung, because it was such a fucking stupid thing that happened as well. We were cackling like 2 retards. Oh god, she's kicked me a number of times in the bed, both through her sleep and not through her sleep, like just moving around, and she just fucking whacks me with her leg. I've elbowed her in the bed by an accident as well. It's just a thing where you're gonna have stories if you've been with someone for years. Now, obviously, if I'm gonna have my wide background sweater wearing fucking button-up shirts, I've never hit her video, I'm not gonna consider those as though they were hits, and you know, both ways. But it just made me think of like how many times, or maybe I'm just retarded. Maybe me and my wife are just fucking idiots. Maybe that's what it is. We're like clumsy morons. That's why you have the wife beater on. I kind of have one on right now, but the one I have on right now is teal, so it's like not a proper wife beater, you know? I'm victim blaming before it even happens. I bet you'd like your wife beating you. Not like this, but the phone thing, he's got to give the phone thing a break. There's only so many times you can say the phone thing.
And it was not on purpose. What makes that more than just my word is that, at the time, her own account matched it in 2022. When she had the bruise, she did not call it abuse to anyone. She called it an accident both publicly and in private.
It's
in
not
Emiru's
a
best friend at the
then.
time's chat room on August 11, 2022, surrounded by all of Emiru's close friends and even her brother, she said the same thing. When a friend asked her directly whether something had given her the black eye, she answered that it was not intentional and called the whole thing a funny story that she would explain later. Verbatim, "Did someone knock you out, Emily?" Emiru said, "Not intentionally. I got a black eye a week or 2 and it's finally almost gone. It's a long story, but funny as fuck. LOL, I'll DM you later." There was never a police report. There is nothing in any record from that time that treats this as an abuse, in calls, text messages, or anything that me and Emiru had. It was not called intentional abuse until 3 years later, when Emiru went live. The bruise never changed. The story about it did. I will also have more messages about this as my lawyer lets me show, proving that this was never abuse, and Emiru has changed the story of it to fit her narrative to make people think that I am a monster. Emiru has accused me of sexual assault, stalking, and abuse. These are all crimes. In the time since, there has been no arrests, no criminal charges, no prosecution, no police complaints against me have surfaced anywhere in this case. On January 15, 2025, the federal magistrate judge has said to the district judge, the Honorable Robert Pittman, that she would deny defendant Emily Beth Shunk's motion to dismiss the First Amendment complaint, the order in which Ms. Rondino is to submit a more definitive statement within 30 days identifying each statement by Shunk he alleges to be defamatory, including the exact quotes from her live stream and how each statement is untrue and how it harms him. So what this essentially means is that Emiru's motion to dismiss did not go through, and that we are continuing the court case. That recommendation still goes to the district judge for a final decision, and that same recommendation is why this record exists. The court told me to spell it out one by one, exactly what she said that I allege is false and how it harmed me. This is what I'm doing. It is the court letting my case move forward, not a verdict, and I won't describe it as one. Too much of the internet, I am a rapist, I am an abuser, and I am a stalker. None of that is true. And that is the version of me posted under every video I make and handed to people who used to watch me, people I worked with, and people who have never met me. It has cost me my reputation that I've worked 10 years for. It has reached my family, it has reached my friends, and has hurt my work directly. Making content, getting sponsors, and using the platform I spent years building, the same community she built.
How would he say that? That would probably be a good clip, actually, yeah. Grim, but that'd probably be a funny soundboard thing. Hold on, I'll take a note. What was it, 32-ish? There we go, taking a note.
Her following on. And it did not stay online. At multiple events, I have been called a rapist. And at one event, minutes after I picked up a wristband, 3 security guards walked me out in front of everyone, and posts mocking me for it reached hundreds of thousands of people. I've been called a rapist to my face in bars and restaurants for most of the last 8 months, and I decided to stay inside because of that. This is a girl named Meg who said, "Imagine being such a prick you got kicked out of the FlyQuest party after showing up uninvited." This is another tweet. LOL, Mizkif got kicked out of the FlyQuest party after getting rejected on the Partyful app. And then someone asked, what is this party? Also, what is the Partyful ALR? Thanks for ahead of time. She said, TLDR, he was rejected from an esports party.
That's a 0 likes tweet. Well, I mean, the one above might have some likes. He's covered that, but that's a 0 likes tweet and response. Well, why are we revving this? This was big news. Surely there's proper tweets to find.
Showed up anyway and got kicked out instantly. So they tried to paint a narrative that I was kicked out and that I was not invited. I want to make it very clear. I was invited by my friend Alana. She just texted me and said go. And I have been to hundreds of parties before Emiru's allegations with no problem in any way, shape, or form. And I got texted by Alana to go to this party with my friend Jeannie. We show up, we did get wristbands immediately, and we were able to walk in. 15 minutes later was when I was escorted out. I never had a problem getting into the party. I showed my ID just like everyone else and waited in line and was immediately let in, only to be almost immediately let out. This was not a case of someone who was simply disliked. And before I left for Japan...
Yeah, plus even, I feel like that down credits his own argument, Lua, because he's not only is he not going after the public, but the public here was a 0 likes tweet.
I broke up with Emiru. I was around creators of every kind. And when I came back, almost no one spoke to me. And while I was in Japan, Emiru went through all of my old friends and everyone that we were friends with and spread lies about me. And instead of going to the police or any legal channel, she went straight to the people who matter the most in my life and my career. Whether out of bitterness that I was the one who ended it or for some other reason, I cannot say. What I can say is that friends stepped back.
Imagine fumbling my end to Emiru, this dude. I mean, Mizkif is just a weird dude. Like that, we were talking about that earlier. Also, hi, hello, and welcome. We were talking about it earlier. It's just, Mizkif's a weird dude.
Not for anything I did, but for what she told them while I wasn't in the room. And the harm was done before I even said a single word. People watched Emiru's live stream and came almost immediately to every place you can find me and said that I was a rapist and destroyed my name. A false story then took hold that I had admitted to everything when I hadn't. When I spoke, I denied everything, and you can see it on my YouTube channel. And the filed transcript proves it. But people who had already made up their mind repeated the false version anyway. Her words were chosen with care, precise enough to be legally actionable, vague enough to let an audience picture the worst. She never had to say rapist. She said sexual assault. And to the millions of people that she said that to, people now call me rapist to my face. That is the harm. It is ongoing. It is every day. And that is why this record exists. Before the breakup, I was not an outcast as many of you think. I was the center of this community. This is the opposite of the story that people now tell about me. In the year before the breakup, 2024, my house was constantly having people there. I had 4 or 5 creators staying at my house almost every single night. I had Extra Emily who was in the backyard doing something. I was hosting something, streaming with others, and collaborating with people across the entire Twitch scene. In the year that people try to paint that I was a nobody, I had over 100 collaborations with other creators, and I helped lead OnlyFans, the hardcore World of Warcraft guild that had over 300,000 active people checking in on it every single day, that Soda Poppin and I ran together, which brought more than 300 creators into the same guild. And that was just a single month. In October 2024, 3 months before our breakup, I collaborated with Fuslie, Pokimane, the Botez sisters, T10 Nat, Hassan, and Extra Emily. I had a boys' night with NMP, E-Rob, and my friend Dave. I went to go see all of the Game of Thrones collection before they went on auction, and I even hung out with Jason, Max, and Ron that year. I also collaborated with people like Mari, Julia, and Danny.
I'll be honest, I don't know 99% of these people, but just based on this, it seems like he was in the in-group, if you will. I don't remember him being painted as somebody who wasn't, though.
Yes, people try to call me an outcast, but I was outcasted when I came back from Japan. To show you how little of an outcast I was, these messages are between me and my friend at the time, Leslie, who is also known online as Fuslie. This was November 2nd, 2024, just 2 months before me and Emiru had broken up. I was in LA and I wanted to meet up with her, but she responded, "I won't get to see you before you go, but I'm coming to Austin for OTK game day, so I'll see you in like 2 weeks. And then you can just come to LA whenever, cause you'll love it here." Oh lol, wait, that's great. What was your apartment complex called? On November 4th, 2024, she then tells me her apartment number. This was someone that I once called one of my closest friends, Fuslie, wanting me to move to LA as I was telling her 2 months before.
There's only one Fuslie I know, and you wouldn't call him a she. So again, another person that I'm just completely unfamiliar with.
Before I broke up with Emiru, that I wanted to move to LA and get out of Austin, Texas. Because I knew at the time that I wanted to end it with Emiru and move on. At the time, Fuslie was one of my best friends in the scene. Her and I would talk all the time about our problems, our issues. We would play games together. I was hanging out with her on stream constantly for about 3 or 4 years straight. And whenever we had an issue, we'd call each other. Whenever I was in LA, she was the first person I'd call. Fuslie, whose real name is Leslie, I met her 4 years ago when I went on a girl named Katamia's stream for her subathon. And it turned into some of the most fun I ever had streaming. We became close fast.
I've watched a few of these like IRL streams back when I used to watch Destiny regularly, and I feel like I'd be fucking miserable around these people. It's just, the thing is, it seems really fun until you realize how they are all just being so insanely conflict avoided. It's just fucking ew. Ew. A lot of fakeness.
We played games together all the time. We talked constantly about content, our lives, our relationships, and sponsors. When I was anywhere near LA, she was the first person I called. And just 2 months before my relationship ended, she wanted me to move into her own building in LA. Right there with her, November 2024 text will show that the unit under Valkyrays is available and come to LA whenever. I'll love it here. That is the friendship this next part is going to show you that I had. I was very close to all of these people in LA, just like I was to everyone in Austin.
I am people, yeah.
But I wanted to move to LA, and I knew I wanted to break up with Emiru. This next part that I'm going to show will show you what has happened to my reputation ever since Emiru's accusations. On June 18th, 2025, after texting me how excited that she was for me to come over, Fuslie came to my house to hang out. She cut my hair, and I streamed it. The very next day, June 19th, is when Cutie Cinderella sent the message shown before you that Fuslie had gone to Cutie asking what she thought about me, and Cutie told her her feelings and then told her to reach out to Emiru. Cutie is a dumbass and sent that message to an account that she thought was Emiru, but it wasn't. It was MEOK, who then gave it to me after Emiru made her allegations, showing you that people were my friends prior, but then
Oh, that is a yikes mistake. Again, I just don't understand these people, bro. How the fuck do you mix people up like that, though? Do you not have any, like, history of past messages? Do you not check any of that shit? Do you... I'm trying to think if I've ever DM'd the wrong person. I know I was simultaneously messaging my wife on Facebook Messenger, and I was messaging Cheeto in Discord. And I think I sent the message meant for my wife to Cheeto, and the message meant for Cheeto to my wife. And I think I called Cheeto something like my cute little shrimp or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Which wasn't meant for him, but also, to be fair, is still accurate. So I don't feel really too bad about that. But that's just like that's a rough thing to, it's a rough person to mistaken.
And once they heard Emiru's allegations, completely stopped talking to me. That is a 24-hour window between Foosley sitting in my house and excited to be there, and Cutie privately briefing her on what it is and how to think about it.
You put baby in the oven and cake into bed? Kind of, yeah. I don't even remember what the message was exactly. I remember laughing about it straight after.
Me. After the one private conversation...
Did Cheeto die on the spot? No, he translated what that message was meant to say, because I sent it in Polish. And then he sent me one, I think he sent me a message back saying that I'm also his little shrimp or something like that. You know how Cheeto is. I started cackling.
Entirely. That friend who wanted to be there on day one of me moving to LA, that friend that wanted me to live in her apartment complex under her friend Valkyrie, was gone because she was told what to say and how to think about me. That friend who was at my house one day, who wanted me to live with her at one point, was now gone because of what she was told in a private message she was never supposed to have. A message from someone who was not even involved.
Cheeto is the bestest.
Repeating really claims about me that were never true. And making her doubt a real friendship over accusations I was never even given the chance to answer. About a month later, after she hasn't responded to me, I went to a 100 Thieves party with some of my friends, and she was there. And Foosley walked up to me that night and began crying on my shoulder. When I asked her what was wrong, she told me that we could not hang out anymore because of what she heard I did to Emiru. At the time, I had no idea what was going on.
I don't know how I would feel if a partner would call me their little shrimp. Is there some issue they're not telling me with my performance? Look, maybe, but both me and Cheeto are absolutely hung. So I feel like if we call each other our little shrimps, there's no undertones there, you know? It's just pure, raw, fucking pumping positive masculinity.
Going on and what people were saying about me, and I would ask her to tell me what was said, but she would say no more. I tried to reach out to Foosley afterwards multiple times, and she never responded. On June 27th was the date of the 100 Thieves party, and after crying to me for hours on my shoulder, telling me that she can't hang out with me anymore because of what she heard I did, she said, "You're okay, Miz." I then said, "Just sad the reality, but maybe whatever." I then said, "It's just so fake, the politics are fake, so much crap and so much cheating and drama, and nobody cares and they hang out, but here I am and people don't want to talk to me." I then say to her the next day, "We should talk, not drunk, off stream." She never responded. And on March 4th, to my friend Foosley, I said to her, "I hope one day we can hang out and you can see that she lied." So you have one day where she's at my house having fun, the next day Cutie Cinderella messages her, and then she never talks to me again. This is what was constantly happening to me for about a year until Emiru came out through allegations. I was not an outcast. I was friends with every creator. I slowly became an outcast over that year as Emiru's lies were spread amongst the community, and nobody told me what was really going on. For almost a year now, I've been forced to live inside a bubble that isn't mine, and it doesn't feel real. I've been wrongfully punished and treated and seen as a man that I am not. I've been labeled a rapist, an abuser, and a stalker. 3 words I have never been. Wrongfully attached to my name and my reputation and my community for the entire world to treat me as such. It took more than my name. It took my reputation, it reached into my family's life, and it has completely destroyed me as a person. I don't wish any of this that has happened to me among my worst enemies. There were nights it would have been easier to just disappear, to be quiet, to let the loudest version of the story become the only one.
Moja Saigonka,
but it didn't
that's
disappear.
the one. Hell yeah. That's the one. With Saigon Cabine spring roll. Yeah. Because I was Because I was messaging my wife. I don't even think she was my fiance at the time. She might have just been my girlfriend. And I was calling her my little spring roll, and I accidentally sent that message to Cheeto instead. Cheeto's saying, I've been reading through the available court filings. It seems like there was merit to the case, and based on the first 5 minutes of the We're Being Sued video, Andrew's been quite disingenuous with the facts, in my honest opinion, a number of times. Cheeto, how big are the court filings? Because that was I was intending to go over that video, at least parts of it, next. We've only got 2 minutes left on this one. If the filings are not too large to point out a few inconsistencies in, we can do that next.
And I'm not going to. This is not the first time.
Alternatively, yeah, like Lua just said, to drop your thoughts in Drama Slop. I'd well
the same way she
appreciate that.
did, and I talked about it on stream since.
I don't know. I don't paint Emiru to be a liar. She seems pretty damn honest and one of the more genuine streamers. I can't speak to her like streaming patterns because I don't watch her. I think people certainly downplay her sort of like responsibility in a lot of things on account of her being like an attractive streamer. But I didn't get the vibe of her lying in that video either. In terms of how it's going to go legally, though, we're going to have to wait and see, because just from the court filings that Mizkif has shown, which again, he's probably shown them quite selectively, but from the ones that he has shown, it's not looking good for her.
But this is the first time I've done it in a way with a clear head, with preparation, in every document in front of me, and every quote sourced. I spoke the same day she did, and I have talked about it on stream since. But this is the first time I've done it in this way.
There were 3 things in this video, though, that I think favor Emiru, and I will just be curious if her lawyers end up arguing any of it or not. Because I feel like the 3 things are... I don't know how significant they are, but they're certainly noteworthy, I would say. The one being that he said that he wasn't communicating with her, but he conveniently avoided the part of that where what he meant by that is that he was sending her a ton of messages, but she wasn't responding, and he means communicating like a two-way street. So that's bullshit. Then there was the I needed to go to Japan to stay away from her, but 3 weeks later I went to a party that she was at, and I thought we can all be adults now. And there was the third thing, which has flown out of my head now, but I'm sure it'll come back at some point.
This is only the beginning, and I'm going to go through all of this because I know she won't, because it will prove her lies. Because the truth doesn't ask me to shout, it only asks me to stay. To stand here with these documents, with the dates, with their own words, and not look away. I'm standing up for myself, I'm standing up for people who stood by me, and I'm going to keep standing for as long as it takes. This has been the worst year of my life. I wouldn't wish this on a single soul, not on anyone, no matter what they've done to me. All I have ever wanted
Never trust streamers to tell the whole truth.
And for justice, real justice, to find its way to the surface. To my community and to everyone who never stopped believing in me. When believing in me costs you something. Thank you. Before I go, there's just one more thing I want you to see. Just one. This whole case will be decided on evidence. The messages, the devices, the documents, everything both sides has to hand over. Under oath. I filed this lawsuit on November 3rd, 2025. By her own side's account, she knew about it November 10th. And on November 11th, the very next day, she went back on stream and told everyone watching this in her own words.
I got 2 new computers.
Yeah, shit, I saw this. This is bad. I saw this clip. This clip was... Oh, this is a bad one for her.
My other computer is
completely
gone.
forgot
I gave
about
it back
this.
to Starforge and they wiped that shit.
Yeah, the fact that she would admit that is a rough one, bro. As soon as court proceedings have started, you're telling us that you wiped your PC. Oh, this is not what you want, bro. That is not good. Even if you are completely in the clear, that just puts you in a bad light. That is a rough one. That is, you do not want to do that. Because even if they didn't do anything nefarious, it's just the timing of that is just peculiar. Yeah, that's a rough one. I'll be curious to see where this goes, though. Hey, Slippy, how you doing? One day after the notice for her, yeah. Chris should become a streamer lawyer for lols. Every law tuber is a piece of shit. Look, I shouldn't say every, there's a handful that are decent, but most law tubers are fucking abhorrent retards with capital R. Fucking dumbass motherfuckers who could not argue a court case to save their fucking lives. What's Andrew Esquire? What's his handle? Who am I thinking of? That fucking moron. Oh god. Absolute buffoon. Cretin of the highest order. Just a profound Tootsie Roll. Who am I thinking of? Yes, I'm sorry, Ruby. We missed 21:37. We missed the hour of the Pope on the day of the Pope. Shit. But today is a mythical day in Poland, chat. We ought to remember forever. Thank you for the follow, 519. I hope you find your stay here enjoyable. The Pope died alone today. I don't know if you have seen, but today, as of 10th of July 2026, it's 21 years, 3 months, and 7 days since the Polish Pope has died. And 21:37, 9 p.m. 37, is a sacred fucking hour in Poland on account of that being the hour of his death. There's a whole thing that surrounds it was nothing, then the church tried to make it into something very forcefully, and then it became a meme type thing. But it's just very funny. It's just, it is funny. But yeah, no, who am I thinking of though? What's the guy's name? You know who I'm thinking of. We watched his shit a couple of times. A lawyer guy, absolute fucking moron. He ran away from his debt. He moved to Thailand. Then he made a video talking about how there's a problem of underage prostitution in Thailand. And then he made another video saying like, here is a guide on how to get cheap prostitutes in Thailand. The whole thing is fucked. Legal mindset, that's the one. Jesus, legal mindset. Fucking legal mindset. The only legal thing on his mindset should be able to pay back his fucking debts. Absolute. I hate that guy so much. He's like an absolute buffoon. Bro genuinely believes that Hassan sent radical feminists to Thailand to knife him in the dead of night. Like, what level of fucking removed from just basic thought capability do you have to be to get there? Legal mindset. Nick Raqueta is a whole different thing. Legal mindset is a proper moron. He is what BB just said, he's a clinical schizo. Millennials / Gen Z do a lot of memes about this Pope because the worship of his personality was being shoved down our throats through school years. The church was specifically trying to make it so that the 37 minutes past 9 is like a sacred moment in Poland. To be fair, he was manic when he thought he was being stalked. He was, yeah, he's got a lot of issues. I'm being somewhat uncharitable, but also I will reiterate, the guy's an absolute cretin. I listen. And also, he was very strongly on Ethan Klein's side in all of Ethan's legal proceedings, and those legal proceedings did not go according to how legal mindset kept thinking that they will. I'll watch a few minutes of this. We're being sued by Channel 5 of Andrew Callahan. I'm not going to watch the whole thing because Cheeto just said that there is a lot of selective reporting here, and Cheeto is the truth guy, but I want to know what he claims that he's been sued for. Channel 5! And then we're doing the this video. I'm really looking forward to that one, actually. The terrifying world of teenagers on steroids, and then we can play some gacha games or some shit.
Get sued by some customers. By some customer motherfuckers. And we need y'all help. I'm gonna let Andrew break it down. Fuck Bill Joyner.
That's not gonna happen.
What's up, guys? We are in a serious pickle right now. For the past 2.5 years, we over here at Channel 5 have been fighting a lawsuit in silence against a wealthy California lender named Bill Joyner, who I've never spoken to or seen in my life. Among other dubious claims, he accused Channel 5 of violating the Federal Wiretap Act and intercepting his electronic communications, which is something I've never done and don't know how to do.
Andrew don't know how to wiretap nobody, yeah?
On its face, it probably seems ridiculous to imagine me tapping phone lines through a third-party listening device and hiding out in a surveillance van near a 56-year-old boomer's house in Orange County. But
ooh, we're 47 seconds in, and Cheeto's immediately like disingenuous as fuck. All right, this is bad, Cheeto, then, eh?
In our beautiful, free country, somebody with enough money for good lawyers can sue anyone for anything at any time. And just maybe, if you get lucky, the judge will believe it. And that's exactly what happened here. Bill Joyner's attorneys over at Murphy & Murphy somehow successfully, in my opinion, lied in federal court, convincing the 89-year-old judge who was appointed by Jimmy Carter in the early 70s to strike down all of our dismissal attempts and subsequent appeals. This resulted in a painstaking, year-long discovery process where forensic investigators audited our company's servers and hard drives for evidence of wiretapping and found absolutely nothing. Joyner's lawyers then summoned me for a grueling on-camera deposition, which we are currently gaining access to and are going to post on this channel in the coming days. During the deposition, they accused me of deleting and moving files to hide the truth, which is by every account categorically and demonstrably false.
Our paperwork's good, huh?
After years of fighting for the truth in a federal courtroom and spending over $800,000 on legal fees, Joyner's attorneys decided to drop the federal lawsuit entirely before trial. Poof. Gone. They dismissed their own wiretap claims after probably realizing that such an outrageous, bold-faced, abominable, and once again, demonstrably false lie would stand no chance whatsoever at a jury trial, where an actual
The law known as the Wiretap Act encompasses far more offenses than stereotypical wiretapping, so I don't even know how to wiretap is such a dumb counter-argument. You know what? What state is this in, Cheatster? I can literally have a look at that act. The Wiretap Act. Well, no, it's an act. I don't need to know what state it is. It's a whole ass fucking, it's a whole ass thing. Okay, so this is AI overview. So in a moment, we're going to look for something a little bit better. But the Federal Wiretap Act prohibits the intentional interception, use, disclosure, or procurement of wire, oral, and electronics communications without consent or a warrant. Okay, so wire, electronic, or oral communication without consent or a warrant. Originally passed in '68, it was heavily expanded in '86 by the Electronics Communication Privacy Act to cover digital data and computer transmissions. Cheeto's apologizing for something. I'm not clear as to what he's apologizing for, but I accept your apology, Cheeto. In the year of our Lord, 2026, you are forgiven. Let us pull that bad boy up. Let us main screen this bad boy. It is aggressively white. I can only apologize. Not all sides have dark mode. Except, as otherwise specifically provided in this chapter, any person who A. intentionally intercepts, endeavors to intercept, or procures any other person to intercept or endeavor to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communication, or B. intentionally uses, endeavors to use, or procures any other person to use or endeavor to use any electronic, mechanical, or other device to intercept any oral communication when such device is affixed to or otherwise transmits a signal through a wire, cable, or other like connection used in wire communication, or such device transmits communications by radio or interferes with the transmission of such communication, or such person knows or has reason to know that such device or any component thereof has been sent through the mail or transported in interstate or foreign commerce, or such use or endeavor to use A. takes place on the premises of any business or other commercial establishment, the operation of which affect interstate or foreign commerce. Okay, that's a big jump. Or B, obtains or is for the purpose of obtaining information relating to the operations of any business or any other commercial establishment, the operations of which affect interstate or foreign commerce. This is way the fuck more than just recording than like wiretapping someone's phone already, and we're not, we're at the very fucking beginning of this bad boy. Look at this thick fuck. Look at it. This is, I hated this at uni, by the way. Well, hated maybe is a strong word, but it's fucking, the law has a tendency to drool on and on and on. Surreptitiously recording an oral conversation where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy would be considered an offense and happens to be the actual conduct Andrew was sued over. Okay, so that was quite disingenuous then, because he was talking about wiretapping.
12-person group of jurors, hopefully born after and not before World War II, would be present and have to hear their non-existent evidence. After the dismissal, over here at Channel 5, we were relieved to be done with the whole thing.
Andrew thought it was over.
As I mentioned, the 2-year uphill battle cost us over 800 grand. If you've never been sued in federal court before, that amount of money might sound pretty high. But as I break down the lawsuit later in this video and take you through each painstaking step of the process, you'll understand how the bill got so high. You'll also probably understand why we've been going so hard in the field, producing such a high volume of content this past year, shooting in multiple countries with 3 separate camera crews, while also hosting regular ticketed live shows here in the USA, Mexico, and Canada. Of course, on a core level, documentary making is my sole passion and purpose, and I would do all this stuff for free. But in this world, the dollar is mightier than God. And since the lawsuit kicked off, I've had to work twice as hard and honestly push myself and our staff to the limit. This was the only way to keep the bills paid. As I've mentioned, and will always be the case, Channel 5 is totally independent and exists without a single dollar of corporate investment. We only generate revenue in 3 ways: Patreon subscriptions, merch sales, and non-exclusive ad reads with companies who pay us
That's
for placement.
all right, Kyle.
Ground use!
This
I
model
am
is a
a
blessing
good
for journalistic
person to
freedom
look
because
up
nobody
to.
can tell us what to do. But it's also a curse when it comes to
True.
being bullied in court by rich people because we don't have a reserve or retainer of capital to pull from if some tool bag sues us for no reason.
We don't like disingenuously asking for money. Absolutely true. Do you know what? If you felt like giving Andrew Callahan $1 and now you know that he be lying, because Cheeto is very trustworthy and is telling us he be lying, give that dollar to me instead. Giz a follow, giz a sub, giz a membership. Actually, if you giz a sub, we're going to hit 3 out of 3 for the goal today, and then we're only looking to biddies. Give it to me instead. I will never let you down the way Andrew Callahan just let all of us down.
Said the LA Times. We don't have a retainer, a cash fight pool to have you cuss-your ass motherfuckers.
To be honest though, I've been more than happy to work twice as hard this past year and a half. And even on the most stressful days, all the support and positive feedback that we get from you guys is just a reminder of how lucky I am to work in a field that I enjoy. So thank you, and I genuinely am appreciative of all the support. But today, I've got some really bad news. Bill Joyner and his attorneys are re-suing us. Not in federal court.
I don't know who that screaming guy is. It's very weird. It's, I don't understand.
This time, but in California state court, which I guess apparently you can do after throwing out your own claims in the feds, with modified claims now that include defamation, stalking, false light, and trespassing. Yesterday, I was served with the process.
That's a lot more specific now. Violation of California Civil Code 1707.8, invasion of privacy to capture physical impression, trespass to land, defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, common law invasion of privacy. So it sounds like he recorded someone by getting on some kind of he recorded someone who had a reasonable expectation of privacy and not being recorded by entering an area that he wasn't allowed to enter.
Include defamation, stalking, false light, and trespassing. Yesterday, I was served with the proof now that include defamation, stalking, false light,
invasion of privacy, false light, intrusion upon seclusion, and violation of California Business and Professions Code.
And trespassing. Yesterday, I was served with the...
If you want, this is the initial complaint from Mr. Joyner. I do want, actually. Thank you, my friend. This action is brought by a private individual, plaintiff William Joyner, also known as Bill Joyner, who within a matter of days will have... I'll put the music on. Who within a matter of days will have his spouse's, and his children's health and personal safety put in grave and entirely unnecessary jeopardy. The defendants in this case have spent at least 2 years stalking, surveilling, video recording, and audio recording Mr. Joyner, his family, his home residence, and his place of business, and have created a film that they intend to broadcast at 38 theaters nationwide, as well as in Canada. The film is based upon a false, nonsensical, and mentally disturbed story of defendant Kelly Scott Johnson, also known as Kelly J. Patriot. Okay, am I supposed to be aware of any of these people or any of these things, or... Johnson is a disbarred California lawyer who has more than a decade of experience bringing frivolous and vexatious litigations against Mr. Joyner. Johnson has also made numerous personal threats against Mr. Joyner in emails sent over several years, including without... Hold on, Johnson. Andrew Callahan. Kelly Scott Johnson. Okay, how does Kelly Scott Johnson relate to Andrew Callahan? Is that an employee of his? Johnson has also made numerous personal threats against Mr. Joyner in emails sent over several years, including, without limitation, A. Mr. Joyner needs to be careful what he wishes for. As I also mentioned, and as Mr. Joyner should be aware by now, he picked the wrong fight and the wrong person to fight with. On a related note, I wanted to remind you that you are going to regret what you are doing and what you've done to my family for the rest of your life. See? Similarly, the longer you continue to steal my family's home, the more you're going to regret it and the more you will pay. Andrew made a documentary, Dear Kelly, about Kelly Johnson. Okay, and Kelly Johnson is... Kelly Johnson... Disbarred. If I Google like this, am I going to get anything here? Okay, we found a Reddit post. Channel 5 Live. Kelly Johnson was disbarred in California, history of misconduct and other issues. His license was revoked for many reasons, including failing to pay clients their rewards. Seems like he wasn't so great as a bankruptcy attorney, shockingly. Let me turn the music down a spoonful. There we go. Okay, okay. Has appeared in his videos / on tours with him, and they appear to be friends. Okay, that's interesting. D. I hope Mr. Joyner is happy that he gets all that he is after, and all that he deserves, as I intend to make sure of that. E. I hope Joyner is happy, as he will pay dearly for what he has wrongfully put our family through. F. I am surprised that Bill Joyner continues to jeopardize his livelihood and personal freedom by continuing to try to steal our family home through verifiable, fraudulent recorded documents. He will have his day, and so will your firm. G. How can Mr. Joyner sleep at night having to constantly look over his shoulder? Oof. Not a good way to live. Oof. The earlier ones I could, with the exception of one here, I think, the earlier ones you could kind of clock as like a, well, it sounds bad, but it could very well be talking about like entirely legal, you know, avenues. How can Mr. Joyner sleep at night having to constantly look over his shoulder is a bit of an oofta-boofta. Not a good way to live your life, as the Lord is also taking inventory of what is going on here. You are all warned. Alright, this took a fucking spin. Alright, Mr. Zealot Man. You will pay in a big way, Bill. I guarantee it. I wanted to make sure that you saw my messages below, as your attorneys have claimed that you are scared, and you should be. You should be very concerned about the many repercussions you are facing for what you have done. We have nothing to lose. How about you, Bill? As before, you are going down, and the only question is when and how hard. Joyner will pay a price, and it is just a matter of time. Mr. Joyner will be heading into his next $500,000 in attorney's fees and costs with no end in sight. To Mr. Joyner's counsel, although you may be so-called going away, you are really not going away, i.e. although you and Penelope might be sometime... i.e. although you and Penelope might be sometime soon? Is this a fucking death threat? Who the fuck is Penelope? Is that the... I'm assuming that's Johnson's wife, right? That's what it sounds like. Or another person involved in the... Actually, it might not be a wife. It might be another person involved in the story, but you and Penelope might be going away sometime soon. As this case, my well-founded claims and the truth will follow you for the rest of your days on this earth, and until there is justice. Hallelujah. To Mr. Joyner's counsel, overall, and just like your poor client, you can run, you can try to insulate yourself, but you can't hide, as I and the OC Sheriff Department / Process Services will also find you at your new firm in order to serve the next lawsuit against your criminal client and his accomplices. Fucking oof. For more than 10 years, Johnson stalked and threatened Mr. Joyner. Johnson, who is Johnson and who is Callaghan's side? Johnson is, Chido was just saying, Andrew made a documentary, Dear Kelly, about Kelly Johnson, and has appeared in, he has appeared in his video / on tours with him, and they appear to be friends. So Johnson is some kind of a friend of Andrew Callahan. Andrew Callahan and Johnson have been sued by Joyner, and Joyner's presenting in here that, it appears like Johnson's making death threats. For more than 10 years, Johnson stalked and threatened Mr. Joyner. Johnson intensified his actions to the point that Mr. Joyner was required to obtain a civil restraining order against Johnson. The order subsequently terminated in 2020. The lengthy history of Johnson's civil claims and defense has been adjudicated by numerous courts in California, both state and federal, at trial and appellate levels. Having lost all of this litigation, and after the Superior Court of California declared Johnson a vexatious litigant, you don't want to be declared that by the courts, that's not good. Johnson has been barred from filing lawsuits against Mr. Joyner. Nevertheless, Johnson teamed up with the other defendants in this action to do something more sinister and dangerous to Mr. Joyner and his family. Callahan and Channel 5 LLC have consumed the false narratives fed to them by Johnson and created a motion picture with imminent plans to broadcast it nationwide. Although promoted as an untitled film, Callahan has previously stated publicly that the film is titled Finding Bill Joyner. In this complaint, plaintiff refers to the film as the Callahan film. In the Callahan film, Johnson and Callahan are depicted wearing, amongst other things, ghillie suits, skulking in property behind Mr. Joyner's residence, and videoing the dwelling and those inside it. Callahan has publicly posted at least one photograph of himself with Johnson wearing these ghillie suits, with the caption indicating that the two were on a, quote, daring mission for revenge. Okay, so this is... What a disingenuous fuck. Where is my soundboard? Where is my... Hold on. Oh, I have all the clips that Cheeto sent me. I just didn't add them to my... after I got the new PC fucking year ago. I haven't added them yet. I know, I'm bad. Hold on. We need a proper...
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. Holy shit, dude.
Excuse me.
Holy
Sorry.
fucking shit,
control.
dude.
I apologize for that.
Literally lying.
Love this.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Andrew Callahan's being a fucking bitch.
Process pictured on screen, indicating that we're going to have to go through this entire process again from start to finish. And after speaking with a couple different attorneys,
They are slippers, but I'm going to take issue with Andrew Callahan saying, I'm being sued for wiretapping and I don't know how to do that complicated technology CIA thing. And the first line of the lawsuit literally says he was wearing a fucking ghillie suit and taking pictures of the dude's house. It is Goro, yeah.
it doesn't seem like the second round is going to be any cheaper than the first.
Don't lie to me. Give me the whole fucker and I'll make up my own mind. And then I will decide who's in the right. And my cultists will then obviously follow what I say. And we will push for the truth. But this way we can't do shit because Andrew be lying.
And therefore, I have to be direct and keep it 1,000 here. I can't afford it. This is not a drill. We cannot afford to keep operations.
The film referred to as Finding Bill Joyner is the same film that was ultimately named Dear Kelly. Wait, so Cheeto, when he says that they are intending to release the film, is that the film that already was released? Is that the Dear Kelly film?
Running here at Channel 5, unless we can immediately fundraise the legal fees that are required to fight the second round against bullshit and Bill Joyner and his morally bankrupt.
Did they cut things out from that movie, or did it just not include any of like the fucking ghillie suit weirdo type shit?
Teamed with bogus slang and jabronis, and we need to ask for your support. This is not something I've done before or want to do again, but after reviewing my options, this is the only course of action aside from selling the company or shutting down for the foreseeable future. When we lost All Gas No Brakes in 2021, after a contractual dispute and had to relaunch from square one without a penny of outside funding, it was all of you guys who flocked to our Patreon and kept the dream alive in the face of sudden death. And I will always appreciate each and every supporter who crossed over and has believed in us since I was a 21-year-old kid in an RV. And I hope that I've made it up to at least some of you.
Okay, we're 5 minutes in. We will we'll call it a day for the time being. I will certainly keep a close eye on this. There is more here that I want to go through. Because this is just sussy as fuck. I'd finish reading through paragraph 8. Do you mean to jump to paragraph 8? Okay, sorry, carry on until... Okay, I get you. I was about to ask a very silly question. The preview for the film also shows what appears to be Callahan having gained access under false pretenses to Mr. Joyner's place of business, which is restricted by keycard access. All of the video and audio recordings of the film were made without Mr. Joyner's or his family's knowledge and without their consent. Also publicly available on YouTube are recorded videos of a theater in Los Angeles, California, filled with individuals who attended Callahan's previous live show previewing of one of his films, chanting repeatedly in unison and with enthusiasm, "Fuck Bill Joyner," as Kelly Johnson is revealed on stage and joins the chant, and 2, a theater in Portland, Oregon, also filled with Callahan's fans, in which Callahan himself shouts "Fuck Bill Joyner," and the crowd again repeats the chants in response. 8. The Callahan film presents a clear and present danger to Mr. Joyner and his family, has already damaged Mr. Joyner, and will gravely damage him and his family even further unless defendants are enjoined and constrained by this court immediately. As the first showing of this film, of which the plaintiff is aware, is scheduled to occur on June 9th, 2023 at Center Stage Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. Thereafter, the Callahan film will be shown in 37 additional theaters in states across the country. Okay, so 2023, so this is from a while ago. I didn't pay attention to the date. But okay. So this already came out. I should probably watch that at some point then, right? Try and figure out what the fuck's going on here. Because it's possible that this Joyner guy is an absolute fucking cunt. But it looks like if the ghillie suit shit and all that is true, then that's just curious behavior. Very curious behavior. Very illegal curious behavior. Very not cool. Fucking strange, man. Sorry, I'll be with you momentarily. I've just I'm second monitor browsing, but it's all right. Before we jump into the terrifying world of teenagers on steroids, and we're gonna pause this Callahan thing because I will need to take my time with it. I found this was recommended to me, saying that this is a 4-player co-op horror that's supposed to sort of replicate like Left 4 Dead type vibes. And my love for Back 4 Blood has failed to infect as many of you as I hoped it will, which I will still make another attempt to do so. I actually quite enjoyed playing it with Ampar on the subathon. But I just want to see what the fuck this is, because this game seems interesting. So let's watch this. Just a little bit of gaming news. I've just realized there might be more gaming news later, because there is a 27-minute and 35-second uploaded video 2 hours ago, which is the Q&A from the big summer Warhammer show. So I am very, very, very curious what they might have shared with us. Hey Melon, how you doing, love? But first, let's find what this game is. Let's find out what this game is. I can speak English. Go. The Mound. Not a cool name for a game.
Welcome, fellow explorers, to The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu. A cross-play co-op horror game that will push you and your friends to the edge of madness. Available July 15th, 2026 on PC, PlayStation 5, and...
July 15th? That's 5 days from now, right? I'm good. Just chilling and vibing.
Xbox Series. This video will introduce you to the game's core experience and key features. You'll learn how to prepare for your expedition, dive into the unknown, and how the game will twist your mind to sabotage your group's efforts. The Mound is a 4-player co-op horror game set in a 16th century South American cursed jungle inspired by Lovecraft's creations. It puts you and your friends in the shoes of a group of desperate explorers on a galleon whose captain has dropped anchor off these shores. He has work for those bold enough to venture deep into the jungle. Together, you will explore, gather treasures, and try to find the entrance to the Mound, rumored to hold treasure beyond imagination, and get back to the galleon before the jungle claims you.
You've got there was limited inventory, a variety of weapons so far.
Not only will you face danger and unspeakable monsters, you also risk being drawn deep in madness. Thankfully, the galleon is a safe place that will let you organize before your expedition. Gather your fellow explorers and sign a contract with the captain to receive your gear. Musket, crossbow, sword, oil lamp, reviving salt, split the gear, pick up any additional equipment you may need, and get into the rowboat. Once on the mainland, join forces to fulfill the captain's expectations, bringing back treasure, gathering food for the crew, or rescuing lost explorers. Don't forget what brings you to this hostile land.
I mean, this looks quite good so far. I need to see some actual, gameplay.
And the jungle is divided into large open areas connected through old forts abandoned by previous expeditions. Recovering their logbook will unlock these forts as starting points for future runs, letting you venture ever deeper into the unknown. The proximity voice chat is essential in adapting your approach and coordinating your actions. You may be
proximity voice chat is cool. I like that.
Looking for treasure, but the jungle has other plans. Each step in this dense and hostile territory is a risk. You are unwelcome here, and any sound you make, such as cracking a branch or firing your weapon, may awaken the jungle and the horrors it breeds. Only through mutual support will you survive the unspeakable Lovecraftian creatures lurking in the dark. But there are also unpredictable threats against which your weapons will be useless. The deeper you venture, the greater the toll on your sanity. The Mound is
that is so cool.
Powered by a complex madness system that will lead you and your friends to doubt your own eyes and feelings. The curse triggers illusions and hallucinations. The world might seem drenched in blood, traps can be disguised like a mirage, your vision might be altered, leaving you to question your own sanity, while the jungle also tries to deceive you at every turn. In the jungle, sound is spatialized. Losing communication may be the greatest danger, as a friend who wanders off may return controlled by the jungle to hunt you down. The Mound is built for co-op from the ground up, with ever-evolved perils and outcomes.
I hope they have good AI though, because I don't have 3 friends. It's going to be a rough one. But if the AI is good, that looks really cool.
Each mission brings you closer to the long-coveted treasures you seek. Along the way, follow the accounts and tales, collecting clues about the Mound and the nightmarish mind-bending world it holds. But reaching the Mound is only the first step into the unknown. What lies behind its doors, and what will you awaken once inside? Only the first step into the unknown. What lies behind its doors?
This is quite beautiful of a fucking scenery for you going into a cave, isn't it?
And what will you awaken once inside? The Mound, Omen of Cthulhu is coming July 15.
Okay, hold on. I found a closed beta 4K no commentary gameplay. It's 36 minutes long. I'm obviously not going to watch the whole thing, but I want to watch at least a little bit. Okay, I don't want to spoil it for myself though. I want the gameplay. Okay. So he's in the forest. I wonder how linear it is. Oh, we've got a zombie ting. Always do, Slippy, always do. Bro's just not turning around, is he? Please don't show dick. I'm on stream.
These words were written for the fuck.
Okay, I think maybe that's what was supposed to have happened to the captain. Got the character choice. The okay, hold on. Let me just maybe jump us somewhere in the middle here and see what happens. Because I don't want to spoil too much for myself. I just want to see the gist of the gameplay. An axe, nice. Yeah. I like, there was one earlier where he was wearing, he was using a halberd. I want a halberd. AD. Metal idol, nice. So they're going around searching for treasure, presumably bringing it back to the ship and then getting cashola to, like... Oh, not even to the ship, they're just bringing it back to the wagon. How is the wagon going to follow them deep in the jungle, though? Looks like Skyrim. What kind of Skyrim have you been playing, bro? Fair enough. Fair enough. Modded Skyrim's good. Should be some fighting soon.
Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil.
It's not. It's usually if an enemy's running away from you, you don't really want to chase after him. Okay, so he just disappeared midair. Alright. Rough around the edges, but that was from a month ago, so maybe they've fixed it a little bit. Looks kind of mid for now. It might be one of those where it's significantly better to play it than it is to watch somebody else play it, but it's fun to watch somebody else playing when there's 4 of them, you know what I mean? Looks intriguing enough. Apparently it's $30 on release, which is unusual nowadays. He didn't reload. I was going to bite him in the nuts. Is there some ammo management mechanic? Otherwise, why choose a musket over a crossbow? I mean, there's gotta be, right? But you know about as much as I do. Okay, so there's specials as well. You don't want to go on your own then, because otherwise that happens. Bro is just trading hits. Why would you trade hits? Okay, do you know what? I don't want to watch too much because I don't want to spoil it for myself, but it seems quite decent. It's it seems fun. Which really, at the end of the day, when it comes to games, that's kind of all you want. Now I want to play 7 Days to Die. You and 7 Days to Die, it's like your version of autism, Magnet, isn't it? I don't think we have a transcript for this video yet, because it was a live stream, so I think it takes a while. I would be... I just want to see if they said anything about Spearhead. Because if they have, then I want to...
Hello everybody, and welcome to the big...
What do they have here? Necromunda, Ogre Moor Tribes, the 40k new gen, we know about all of that. I'm going to wait for the transcript, I think, and then I'm just going to jump around, because I want to hear Spearhead shit. I want to hear Spearhead. Hold on. If I do Control and F, Spearhead. No one's even said the word in the comments. That's not good, because I've seen Warcrime be mentioned a couple of times. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see in the future. Shall we? For the get ready for the gaming content? No, the gaming content has just ended. The terrifying world of teenagers on steroids. But I will be playing a gacha game in the meantime, because I have to do my dailies in Honkai Star Rail.
At 17 years old, why did it take you in hell?
Me and my friend hopped on at the age of 16 years old.
Just take steroids.
While I was pinning, my mom tried to open my door.
Is taking steroids at 15 really that crazy?
Yes. Child abuse. Where are your parents? You need to be investigated.
Turn up the volume, you might give the noise.
There's a rising trend that's worrying many fitness experts.
I only worked out for like a year. I was like, you know, this, like, I'm taking steroids.
That's like kind of hilarious.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes. I completed the 30-day tread challenge, and the results might just shock you.
Follow my... The thing as well, every time with these lunatics is, look, if you want to jump on roids at the age of 17, fucking, you're an idiot, but you do you. I'm not your daddy. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. But did you jump on fucking Tren? Like, not even testosterone. Not even like a TRT cope. Just fucking Tren. Like, what are you doing?
Journey to an early grave. Yay!
But beneath the rage bait, something more disturbing is happening.
More teenagers than ever before are going to continue to abuse steroids.
These kids aren't acting alone. Many of the influencers you see online are just smaller cogs in a much larger machine. One that's quietly distributing PEDs to teenagers. To take a closer look, we infiltrated one of the many teenage steroid group chats, and what we found was deeply disturbing to say the least. To start, we made a TikTok account and set the...
The 17 on roids should be far from allowed. Yeah, I'm just saying that if you're a 17-year-old thinking about jumping on roids, you're not going to care about what a fucking 10-viewer Andy VTuber has to say about the topic. You're a fucking idiot. But, like, I'm not going to follow you around to stop you from doing it. It is idiotic, but, like, back in my day, you know, at least it was testosterone that they were jumping on. Some of them were doing some insane fucking stacks, but for the most part, it was test. Now it's fucking Tren. Like, these people are mental, which, to be fair, I mean, they're kids. They're obviously mental, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Age to 16. So we could start scrolling, liking whatever a gym-obsessed teen might like. While it started off tame, showing the well-known influencers you might expect, slowly, we're shown more and more hardcore videos, like normalized pinning in the gym, to before and after teen steroid transformations.
That's insane.
With most
pinning in the gym is
the same
mental.
sentiment.
Seriously, don't blast.
Don't blast, bro.
Or you'll be super rich and successful.
Hello.
And be always happy and
jacked.
Because you could not handle this lifestyle you live.
Soy boy.
You incel. Save all the steroids
for Mason.
Between 2020 and 2023, videos promoting steroids were viewed 420 million times by US users aged 18 to 24. The only reason we don't have data for younger users is because TikTok doesn't publicize those. At the same time, the stigma around PEDs has collapsed. Hollywood actors openly discuss steroid cycles, while fitness influencers...
I wish they did. Like, some of them are And it's based as fuck that they do. Also, can we just spend a second to appreciate Alan Ritchson, the guy who plays Reacher on the TV show Reacher? That dude is not just a based fucking leftist, but he's also like just genuinely open about being an absolute fucking roid freak as well. Or at least I remember him being genuinely open. I don't know if I'm making shit up, but I seem to remember him being quite, just quite in your face about it. Most of them lie though. Most of them lie. Fucking Chris Hemsworth keeps insisting that he's natural. Bro plays Thor for Marvel, and he's telling you that he's a natural bodybuilder.
It's normalized TRT.
Can I blast at the age of 17 to 18 for sure? Like, what's stopping you? That's what I did.
To a teenager watching this, testosterone doesn't look dangerous. It looks normal, natural even.
Even so, TRT is still natural.
Add extreme looks maxing culture, and PEDs start to feel like a logical upgrade.
If you take a drug that makes you more disciplined, more jacked, more focused, more attractive, and suddenly you're public enemy number one.
To some, it's baffling as to why you wouldn't take a...
I don't even think that's true. I think that you become public enemy number one in two circumstances. You're either lying about taking roids, or you're telling others that they ought to take roids. If you're open about the fact that you take roids, but you're not glorifying the lifestyle, you're conscious about the negative aspects of it, you're not trying to tell others to do it, I don't think really people give that much of a fuck. At least in my experience, they don't.
Concoction of drugs to get ahead as a teenager.
All the research is there, and it's really safe to use these drugs.
Most aren't seeing the hospital visits or hormone crashes. They're seeing success, clout, and rapid results. With the constant bombardment of this content and viral teenage steroid transformations, steroids stop feeling like an underground drug and start feeling like a shortcut to confidence. And it must work, right? We're seeing more and more teenagers putting up impressive lifts, looking like Belgian blue cows.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That's the mindset I had.
From what they've said, it's a magical fix-all, one that's way too easy to...
You're telling a 15-year-old to do whatever it takes when, like, you're very clearly a role model for that dude. Ice. They deserve better.
Get your hands on. Now, what I'm about to show you, I don't want it to come across as a tutorial, which is why I'll blur details and link helpful resources below the video. But I want you to see just how quickly you can get sucked into the rabbit hole of PEDs as a teenager. Because when we were researching this trend, we found numerous more disturbing accounts.
Update. I was just scrolling through TikTok and I got a video of a guy talking about being 17 that he hopped on growth hormone. It had a lot of views. So I clicked on his profile because he linked it in the video and it took me to a Discord server. And in this Discord server, they are selling cookies. Anabolic cookies.
In this group, you find full price lists.
That's the thing that makes you the public enemy number one, and that happens way more often than it ever should, is the fact that when these people jump on roids, the immediate go-to is to start selling shit, start selling their supplements, start selling their diets, start selling their cookbooks. And which, to be fair, with cookbooks, you probably get a pass, but most of it is just they're selling fucking snake oil.
Step-by-step instructions on how to buy, and teenagers teaching other teens.
I'm sorry, there might be more gaming
So
later,
what I'm going to do in this
week.
group is ask the same question, like, what do you guys recommend? I'm 17, I'm turning 18 years old, I've been training for 10 months, what would you recommend?
In just one swipe and 3 clicks, any teenager now has access to illegal anabolic steroids. All they have to do is put in an order.
I sent my picture over, and they said, oh, you look pretty good. A guy responded, and I asked him, like, okay, yeah, thanks, but I'm trying to push it to the next level. Like, what do you recommend? And he proceeded to give me an exact recommendation on what to do and what to take and what he's doing right now, the exact dose that he is taking.
This is just one of the many teenage steroid group chats in a growing underground economy, and the advice they went on to give us was mental.
So he's not just taking PEDs, he's training people and sourcing juice for them at 17 years old.
I wanted to try this experiment out for myself, and after sending "Hey guys," I already got a DM linking to what looked like the Amazon of steroids. And when I asked what I should take, along with a photo of myself around 14, he told me I was too young. Okay, good. But he still proceeds to give me a complete laundry list of instructions for using various
very interesting, Diz.
including Tren.
That escalated quickly.
It did,
Alongside Star Wars sounding peptides and drugs, sure, most have virtually no long-term studies, especially with teenagers. But it's easy to see how a teenager can feel like they've done their research, especially when speaking to so-called experts like this. But often, these people are just teenagers themselves, trying to make some quick money, or earn back the money they spent on PEDs. So the underage user becomes a supplier. Do you see the problem here? I got ID'd the other day for a white monster. It's easier to buy black market steroids.
Now, the problem with black market sources is unlike real labs, real drug companies, there's very little quality control.
And this can have grim consequences if you're buying from the wrong places.
33-year-old Australian bodybuilder who bought steroids from the black market. Unfortunately, this poor guy died of acute metal poisoning. It turns out that when they analyzed his steroid that he took, it had 33 times the safe level of arsenic. So this guy bought a black market steroid that basically contained arsenic, yet no active steroid, and it killed him.
All of it sounds pretty unsettling. Besides, steroids are illegal in most countries, and the idea of buying from some random dealer or Telegram channel is enough to make most teenagers hesitate. But what if there was a legal loophole? SARMs are compounds similar to anabolic steroids, but because they're still quite new, they don't have similar regulations yet, and manufacturers have found a way to exploit this.
So the top thing is not for human consumption.
This label allows companies to sell these substances legally, whether that's in gym vending machines or online. It means they can avoid.
I've known that SARMs are legal. I didn't realize they sell them in fucking vending machines in the gyms. What is happening in the UK?
Pharma-grade drug standards and legally protects the company if you were to die.
Not for human consumption, but we'll send it to 22-year-olds so that they can make fucking edits about their use.
What was once a black market has shifted into a legal grey area, and influencers are cashing in.
The thing is, I can't imagine it's good for their development. No, it's not. It very much isn't. It fucks with your brain on like a... It fucks with your brain in this completely fucked way. Like, it's just... Like you can imagine what it does to you, you know? Especially since it's like fucking bathtub shit. Don't do the bathtub shit, bro. Do not do the bathtub.
Though they're not side effect free whatsoever.
They actually do have basically the same side effects as steroids. Really?
Yet, there's no shortage of influencers selling these drugs with affiliate codes, earning a cut on every sale, or just getting overexcited about them. But where are teenage suppliers actually getting these compounds from? And should they be as confident in them as they seem? To find out, it's worth tracing the source of their supply. And it turns out, it's often a far cry from the pristine labs they show in marketing photos. And it's a good reminder of how exposed people really are online, which makes today's sponsor, Incogni, pretty
house, I would imagine, Goro.
Irrelevant. I don't like being spied on, not because I'm doing anything dodgy.
Didn't I just... Lua, didn't you literally just recommend me a video saying that people who are advertising Incogni are, like, Incogni's lying about what it does? Because if that's true, I'd prefer to skip past this sponsored segment, because I do not be fucking with that.
To be taken quietly, which gets you to keep making these videos. This is Renvex, a steroid lab once rated amongst the top 3 in the world on online forums. But don't let the premium scientific branding fool you. Behind it was a family operation. Macaulay Dodd started taking steroids at 14. After noticing their growing popularity, his father purchased a remote farmhouse in Wales, and alongside him, they began cooking up steroids, as you do.
It's just made in my shed.
Raw materials were shipped over from Chinese suppliers in sweet packets to evade border control. Even producers admit the conditions are often far from sterile.
Well, I've seen some very dirty conditions. You know, smoking cigarettes over it. The ash is dropping in, it's not getting filtered. Every time you take this shit, you're risking your fucking life.
By underground standards, and before it went wrong, Renvex was considered one of the better ones. After all, they were making the steroids and then selling them to other smaller dealers, so their reputation was important. But underground labs are fragile. If customs sees a shipment, a batch goes wrong, or the police get involved, the operation can disappear overnight. Some labs simply rebrand and relaunch, others vanish completely, leaving thousands scrambling for a new source. And make no mistake, when dealing with steroid labs as an unexperienced teenager, there's some very real contamination risks.
No fucking teenage boy anywhere in this fucking world needs to be taking anabolic steroids unless they've got a real medical issue.
There's a lot that can go wrong before the product even reaches the user.
But it doesn't concern you that people might take something you've made and it could damage their body or potentially kill them.
But even when the product is legit, teenage steroid use comes with very real side effects, the kind that influencers avoid talking about because they're uncomfortable and not good for business.
Bro! I mean, I feel like at this point, especially with looks... Okay, hold on, I'm not gonna... That's not the still that I'm pausing on. Okay, this one's better. I'm not the still that we're going with is not going to be the dude's nipples. Other than, you know, lactation and shit like that, that's the more casual shit. I feel like in today's day and age, with how aware we are of people like, what's the Luxmaxer guy called? You know who I'm thinking of. Clavicular. Like, Clavicular was literally saying that he got into all of that in order to get girls, and now he can't have sex with them because his dick doesn't work. Like, do you want your dick not to work? Because that's, I can't imagine that's cool.
If you started lactating at the nips, would you film yourself and put it on TikTok? Probably not. It's one of the rarer side effects of steroid use, but one of those that most people would keep to themselves. There are many side effects that teenagers need to worry about a lot more than adults.
It's not necessarily that your body can't tolerate the drugs as a, guy who's 15, like you have fresh kidneys, fresh heart, fresh everything. It's more so the developing things that haven't reached maturation that might be stunted.
Some kinds of steroids close your growth plates early. That means they'll prevent you from reaching adult height.
Think of these steroids like a fast forward button. They can speed up your initial growth, but this growth will usually stop earlier, leaving you shorter than you would have been without them.
And if you start taking it when you're 16, you're probably going to be a shorter king than you ended up with your genetics.
But this fast-paced growth doesn't only affect growth plates. Have you ever noticed how many of the gym horror injuries involve enhanced lifters? That's likely not a coincidence. Steroids make muscles stronger, faster than tendons to adapt,
but your ligaments
while
can't
also
catch
stiffening
up.
connective tissue by disrupting collagen balance. This is why things can be more likely to snap. And for teenagers whose tendons are still developing, the risk is even higher. But what about the more likely side effects?
Do you suffer with this?
Hey yo, let's talk about gyno real quick.
Gynecomastia refers to the increase of breast tissue in men, or what's jokingly called
Gyno, the lady nip.
what might be a funny name is not a very fun problem. Gyno is caused by an imbalance between estrogen and testosterone, and while it can occur naturally, it's far more common and severe with PED abuse.
Girls like gorillas, so I had to become one. And gorillas have gyno, bro.
But gyno is only the beginning. Steroids dramatically increase oil production, making acne a common consequence.
Irreversible back acne scars that he's going to have to live with for the rest of his life.
As a teenager, Dave was massively into the gym. The guy looked sick, but then he made the decision to jump on anabolics, and it didn't go to plan. What Dave didn't know is his body would react very badly to these substances. His entire body...
We take the dubs where we can, Cassie. We take the dubs where we can.
Started breaking out.
Genuinely, the best way I can describe it is like being tortured,
Nah, Goro,
like 24 hours a day for months.
In teenagers, severe acne isn't just cosmetic. It's strongly linked to depression, low self-esteem, and poor body image. And steroids don't only cause unwanted growth, but shrinkage too.
Especially when you're getting into the realm of, like even your development.
They can shut down the production of testosterone that your body makes. And as a result, your natural hormones crash.
And my balls have shrunk 20 to 30%.
Which can lead to infertility and a dependence on these drugs for the rest of your life. But that's not all.
It's colloquially termed DECA, is erectile dysfunction.
Steroids can either skyrocket or completely destroy sex drive. Some will lose all libido, while others experience the complete opposite.
They will have insatiable libidos, which is a pretty typical outcome, but often this leads to a diversion in sexual appetite through increasing escalation of like intense and extreme pornography to achieve that dopamine hit. It's pretty wild.
They're not claiming that teenage steroid use will turn you into a sexually deviant hobbit with tiny balls and a lactation issue. But side effects are far harder to navigate as a teenager, and we still haven't touched on the deadliest one, the effect they can have on the heart. Just like other muscles, the heart grows, which can lead to heart attacks or cardiac arrest. There's been cases where teenagers...
He keeps playing clips from people who make humorous content as well, Lua, which doesn't serve the much more serious nature that he's going for. But especially Derek, the guy, the one that was talking just a second ago. That's Derek from More Plates, More Dates. That's the name of his YouTube channel. He includes a fuck ton of humor in his shit. It's like his very branding is based on like the humorous approach to all of this, and he also tests all kinds of steroids and PEDs and SARMs on himself. He has like a very scientific approach to it, and he's just very prone to joking around in general. He's a pretty cool dude. Did he ever say what SARMs actually are, how it's different from normal steroids? He didn't explain the inner differences. The thing with SARMs is that you can buy them online. Like, they're available from stores, so they can be delivered to you via fucking Royal Mail in the UK fully legally. And the thing is, SARMs, there's a lot of different types of SARMs. Some of them more safe, some of them significantly less safe. A lot of them have limited scientific data that surrounds them, especially when it comes to human consumption of it. What are they? Like, you mean in the... I mean, we can Google around, right? Like, what are SARMs? And we can look at the technical shit behind it. SARMs, or selective androgen receptor modulators, are investigational drugs that mimic the muscle and bone building effects of testosterone, but are designed to target specific tissues to avoid the broad side effects of traditional steroids. The hype versus the reality. Despite being heavily promoted online as safe, legal steroid alternative for bodybuilding and fitness, SARMs carry severe risks and are not approved by the FDA for human consumption. Athletes and bodybuilders use SARMs, such as Osterin Ligandrol I've heard a ton about, and RAD140 to improve lean muscle mass and physical performance. The mechanism, they work by binding to androgen receptors in your muscles and bones, triggering anabolic activity. In theory, they are tissue selective and are intended to have less impact on other organs like the prostate. Not safer than steroids, however. Although they are often marketed as milder alternatives, clinical case studies show that they are linked to life-threatening health problems. The thing with roids as well is that, like, I mean, I understand why. When I say I don't get it, I mean it in the like, why are you doing this to yourself sense, not in the I do not understand this sense. But what the fuck is wrong with testosterone, you know? Like, why do we need all of this extra shit? Like, why is testosterone not good enough, you know? It gives you all you need. Not to say that you should be on test or TRT in a lot of cases. But, like, I mean, if you're going to be on something and you're looking at fucking Tren, just go with SARMs. Go with, just not go with SARMs. If you're looking at Trend, go with just test. Just fuck me, you know? Generally, it's like with synthetic cannabis, where they change a tiny thing in composition to make it legal. Yeah, the whole thing is fucky. But again, the most fucky thing about it is the chasing of the pump, chasing of the dream, right? It's the idea that you can always look better, you can always be bigger, you can be leaner, you can add a millimeter or two to your biceps while taking a millimeter or two from your waist. You can always look better, you can always be stronger, and it's like a never-ending trap with these people. That's why stacks are increasingly more popular. At least nowadays, stacks is like a thing that if I still browse some bodybuilding forums now and then, stacks are like the norm. When I was younger, stacks were like the thing for advanced lifters. And that just, it doesn't seem like there is anything for advanced lifters anymore. It's just all of that is out in the open. It's fucking grim.
Have died before making it into adulthood, but generally, the longer the use, the greater the risks. I just couldn't understand how teenagers, who simply haven't had the time to understand the biological complexity of what they're shooting up, could have these side effects.
Advanced lifting has become too parasocial. What are stacks, swarms, or steroids? Not swarms, SARMs. I said earlier, just take SARMs, SARMS, SARMs. It stands for selective androgen receptor modulators. But when I say stack, it means you're literally stacking things together. As in, you are using more than one performance-enhancing drug at a time in order to get several like several of them working on you at once. So you have a whole array of muscle building sort of power-ups instead of going for just one. And it's a thing that people do because you can mix certain PEDs together in a way that is very like synergistic with one another. Think of it like building a team in Honkai Star Rail, right? Like one performance enhancing drug is just one character in your party, and you can do content with that one character. But sometimes there are other characters that you can add to it, and it's kind of just other characters in the background. And sometimes you can add teammates to that fucker that properly make him shine. That's just what stacks are supposed to be. It's a combination of performance enhancing drugs that have synergistic effects that make the desired outcome either more achievable, quicker, or they make it so that you regenerate faster. It's just a variety of things put together. And the idea is that back in the day, so to speak, right? I'm on the younger side, but still, back in the day, stacks were a thing that would be quite advised against, especially in bodybuilding, because particularly if you're a new lifter, you don't know what kind of an effect being on one specific drug might have on you. So stacking them together is profoundly moronic, because if you don't know what kind of an impact one thing might have on you, if you jump on 3 things at once and you start having negative side effects, you don't know which thing is causing it. And depending on which thing is causing it, the therapy to get that side effect gone is going to vary. Sometimes more, sometimes less. So jumping on stacks is just insanely dangerous for no fucking reason at all. And that's what these people are doing.
You need to inject the same stuff causing them the next day. Then I spent some more time in the chats and realized the mental side effects of stopping can be even worse than the physical. We first noticed this problem.
I hope that answers
in the
your
group
question,
chat.
Shido. Let me know
A
if it
teenager
doesn't.
sent a message after his parents had found his steroid stash and thrown it away. No post-cycle therapy. He was to quit cold turkey. Without PCT, testosterone can remain dangerously low, bringing severe fatigue, depression, and mental health crashes. The 16-year-old lashes out. He called his parents retards and threatened to scare them, because in his mind, they think that a dead son is better than one without steroids. This isn't hypothetical. It's perhaps similar for how it ended for Taylor Houghton. He started taking steroids at 17 in an attempt to make the varsity baseball team, but after experiencing some of the many common side effects of steroids, his family found out about his use and he was made to quit. Instead of making the team, Taylor was grounded. He went to his room, and it was the last time anyone saw him alive. Steroid withdrawals were suspected to have played a role. The last few years have seen a sharp rise in teen mental health issues.
Yeah, of course. Going cold turkey, if you're on a big stack as well, is fucking... It's not even a bad idea, it's just nearly impossible. Like, your body gets fucked after that. Especially if you, for instance, like increased your testosterone intake, your body stopped making testosterone. If you go cold turkey now, you stop giving your body the extra testosterone and it's not making any, that's going to have like terrible impacts on you. That's why PCT is so fucking important. So if you have all of your shit binned, that PCT is no longer an option. It's just incredibly sad.
In 2025, 1 in 7 aged 10 to 19 experienced a mental disorder. Depression, anxiety, eating disorders, and behavioral issues are now so widespread it's called the youth mental health crisis. Now add anabolic steroids to that mix. Steroids don't just affect muscles, they alter brain chemistry and
No
structure.
idea, Lua. Sometimes parents are not good at parenting.
For mood, impulse control, and behavior.
Anxiety, like you would not believe. Every day that I'm on high doses, I wake up in the morning afraid of the rest of my day.
We can't claim clear causation. It's possible people already struggling are more likely to use steroids. But steroids don't just change how teens see others, they change how they see themselves. Some users claim massive psychological benefits.
If steroids didn't make me more jacked, I would still take them just because of how it affects me mentally.
If you're depressed, just take steroids.
But as with most drugs,
it's the same level of intelligence as if you're homeless, just buy a house. Jesus, that man is insane. Yeah, and he gets paid a ton. He gets paid a ton to be insane. It's very fucking grim. And keep in mind, for the vast majority of those kinds of streamers, the audience are teenage boys. Not adults who will ruin their life on their own accord. Teenage boys.
What goes up must come down. Body dysmorphia and low self-esteem are often what drives teens to steroids in the first place. The goal is confidence, and the result is usually the opposite.
Even if I catch myself in the mirror, sometimes it'll just ruin my holiday if I don't look the way I want to look.
Teenagers usually care more about social validation, with the area of the brain that calculates risk still being underdeveloped. The constant exposure to unrealistic bodies online lowers self-esteem and fuels comparison. Steroids feel like a shortcut out of that loop, but trying to fix insecurity.
PCT, bind. PCT stands for post-cycle therapy, and depending on what performance-enhancing drugs you're on, you will have a variety of medicines that you're supposed to take afterwards, a variety of pills that will try and get your body back to where it was at, to get you into normal shape, so that when you are no longer taking steroids on the regular, you don't want to fucking kill yourself. And depending on what you're on, the PCT can be different, because different performance-enhancing drugs fuck with your body's chemicals differently. Bind, I mean to put something in the bin, like in the trash can for my Americans here who do not walk on the pavement, but rather the sidewalk. So PCT is one part of the stack? No, PCT, the post-cycle therapy, is after the... you jump on a cycle, and the cycle can either be one performance-enhancing drug or a stack of them. And after you're done with your cycle, immediately you jump, or sometimes you jump on the post-cycle therapy actually near the end of your cycle, rather than when you've finished. Cycle is like the cycle of you taking performance-enhancing drugs. Sometimes people do it in a space of 12 weeks, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 8 weeks, sometimes 10 weeks. Different bodybuilders do different length cycles. And post-cycle therapy is just what you do in order to get your body back to quote-unquote normal, so that you're able to function. So it wouldn't be considered part of the stack. It would be considered a necessary part of the process, though, Cheeto. Like, if anyone's ever recommending or talking about jumping on roids, and they're not talking about, they don't mention post-cycle therapy or PCT in general, fucking run, bro. Run.
By getting bigger. It's like putting premium fuel into a car with flat tires.
I've never had so much body dysmorphia in my life. I was definitely happier as a natural.
I agree that a lot of us have a hard time being satisfied, but what you're suggesting is far more prominent among steroid users. These are the guys who have the most body dysmorphia.
Once steroid use becomes the solution, they become a crutch.
And like, the addiction part of this,
BDD is underdiagnosed in men, it's sad. Particularly when it comes to gym bros, the problem that you have, that's what chasing the pump is. And the nasty part about chasing the pump is that it's biologically true because of how the whole thing functions. The idea behind chasing the pump is that every time you get bigger through exercise, when you hit the gym and you get the gym pump on, you look even bigger because your muscles are literally pumped after the exercise. So you look at yourself in the mirror after your session is over, and you want to look like that when you're just chilling and vibing. You don't only want to look like that when you are having, like, when you're pumped. You want to look like that always. But then when you do get to that point, when you do look like that, you go to the gym and you get a pump and you look bigger, better. And then you want to look like that, because of course you want to look like that. So it's like a thing that never fucking ends. Just in perpetuity, you're chasing the pump and you can never catch up to it.
It's a very addictive thing.
There's this trend on social media of a young guy with the caption, "One cycle won't hurt," only for it to cut to a gargantuan, almost unrecognizable person after they ramped up their doses. It can turn into a slippery slope. It's just concerning to see a young guy celebrating his 21st birthday hooked up to an oxygen mask. Only more teenagers seem to be taking to forums to ask questions about starting PEDs. Once, taking steroids as a 15-year-old was shocking enough to warrant a BBC documentary. That's not so much the case today, which is sad to see, because the truth is, very few people actually become successful because of their physiques, and even fewer turn it into a lifelong career. The ones who do seem like proof that steroids equate to success. But that's survivorship bias. We only see the outliers who made...
It's rougher than that, though. I'm going to take issue with this. Obviously, it is survivorship bias, to be clear. Absolutely, right? Because there's millions who didn't make it. But it's... if you want to make it in like the bodybuilding quote-unquote space, it's not just survivorship bias. It's a fucking requirement. Everyone is on steroids. Everyone in the fucking natural bodybuilding competitions is on steroids. Everyone does it. It's fucking grim, but it's true. It's just that entire sphere of the internet, that entire sphere of humanity is fucking cursed.
Yeah, not the hundreds of thousands who jumped on gear at a young age, but didn't.
If you have good genetics, and if you train hard, and if you eat well, you can go really far with it. But I promise you, there is a very small minority of people who fit that category, and most likely,
yeah, Lua, very much.
You.
You'll rarely see stories like, I abused anabolic steroids, and it ruined my entire life, or ruined my hormonal system at 17 to 19 years old. They do exist, but
the thing with young teenagers jumping on roids as well is that they usually don't have the kind of support system, know-how, and the wisdom, for lack of a better term, to do everything that surrounds that cycle that is going to maximize their ability to come back from it relatively unscathed. To the extent it's possible to come back from it relatively unscathed, when we've already spoken about how if you're a teenager and you jump on roids, there are going to be things that happen to your body that you cannot come back from. But I'm even talking about something like, for example, you should, at a baseline, before you do any kind of a cycle, you should get your blood tested. You should get all of your bloods done. You should have those results there. And the idea of you then doing PCT is that you're going to do another blood test after your cycle, and you're going to try and get your results back to normal. And then from those results, you're going to be able to compare before and after. And you might be able to, if you see something out of the ordinary or something not as it's supposed to be, you might be able to take certain steps in order to get there still. So it's like a thing that you're supposed to do at a baseline. And a lot of teenagers just don't. I got my blood tested and my doctor said I have high cholesterol. That is, it's also good, people, that you got your blood tested. We will work on your cholesterol together, my friend. But just getting all of your blood tests done is like, it should be the very basic of ever thinking about going on a cycle. And it isn't.
Painful, embarrassing.
I don't like how the alternatives... I don't like how he alternates between talking about Psalms on steroids, or I'm confused. He's mostly talking about... The thing with Psalms is that they are not... Psalms don't make you as big as roids do. So he's mostly talking about roids when he's talking about like the end result of being fucking huge and yoked to the gills. But when he's talking about your hormonal system being all fucked up and your like... There are like those things you can't come back from. It's applicable to both Psalms and steroids, because it doesn't matter which one you're on, strictly speaking. It's more about the fact that you are changing your like chemical composition.
And don't fit the social media highlight reel. Most steroid users don't end up looking like the people who influence them. Many will look natural. Ironically, top natural bodybuilders often get accused of steroids far more than people who are actually on them.
Yeah, if you do things right, and you have the genetics and the training and all those things over a decade or more, you're gonna mug most steroid users.
A kid who just wants to look better, feel fitter, and be more confident doesn't need to know how to inject themselves. They need to hear that they still have years of natural potential ahead of them.
Stay fucking natural.
Because the world of teenagers abusing steroids is a dark one.
Objectively true, yeah. I've already said this before and I'll say it again. If I ever end up doing a cycle, I am telling everyone to never do a roid cycle, no matter how happy I am with the fact that I've done a roid cycle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just... Whether I'm happy with it or unhappy with it, the one thing that I can tell you for sure is that I'm telling people it's bad and you should never do it. It's not even like a gatekeeping type shit. It's, I mean, I'm obviously not going to lie, but at the same time, I fucking despise the notion of guiding people on that journey. You know what I mean? Like, that shit's just fucked.
And it's important to understand that before you step inside.
All right, good video. Good video. Everyone say thank you, Lulu, in the chat, because that video was recommended to us by Lua. See, she's waving. She be waving. All right, gang. Like I told you, I've gotten to a point where I don't really want to force the streams, where I feel like I'm done with the content and I want to conk out for the night. So I feel like this is a good place to end. We are at an almost 3-hour mark, so I think you'll forgive me. I shall raid us, but I don't know where. Do you know what? I can see Resi's on, so I'll raid us into Resiver. I will be back with you next week. I will see if I can do some more content over the weekend. There might be another Patreon video, so if you guys haven't joined my Patreon or haven't watched my last Patreon video and you already are a patron, please do. Let me know if you liked it, if you disliked it, if there's any feedback. I am very appreciative of that. I shall be heading to bed after I look at Cheeto's message. You're under 18 and you ask your parents to take you to the doctor and you ask to get all my bloods tested and they ask why and you say, oh, because I'm planning on taking steroids and or SARMs. Doesn't exactly seem viable. No, it's not, Cheeto, but that's part of the reason why under 18s shouldn't be on fucking roids, right? Because parents are not going to be able to take care of you. You're not going to be able to take care of yourself and you're just asking yourself for problems there. Like this isn't the case of you going to a doctor's to like be prescribed specific stacks. This is you just wanting to look like you're yoked to your fucking gills, and that being a bad idea at the age of 16. It's just bad. But we can carry on this conversation in Discord. I will be in chat. If you guys want to jump in voice, we can do that a little bit later, maybe. I'll certainly be in chat though. I will be going. Again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Good night, sleep tight, and I shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.